slash host fueled by bourbon instead of fueled by ramen. Nice.
Yeah,
So right.
exactly. I knew you would get that one.
Is there a Fueled by Ramen?
It's
That's
a
the
record label.
that's the record label Paramore started, or
Oh
is it
yeah.
Paramore started it, or they just?
They were involved. I don't know if they actually started it,
Yeah. Okay.
but they were one of the first bands. Wasn't Jimmy World on there for a while? And now
Right.
there's a few big bands on there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. Let me pop out the chat. Are we gonna interact with chat? Is that how that works? Or okay. Cool. Cool.
If anyone rolls by.
Sounds good. All right.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's get another episode going here. Our guest today is iYoungGun.
Hello.
Sure, a lot of you guys have watched his stream a couple times, maybe. Another one of the great members of the Rocksmith community here. And first off, thank you for coming on today after that amazingly long stream you did yesterday. That was like a full-time job. You know, I think you streamed longer than I was at work.
Man, that
How
was
long did
rough.
your stream go?
7.5 hours, I think.
Oh my gosh, dude,
was
you're
the total on
legend.
it. I mean, I've done a 24-hour before.
Yeah.
I've done a full 24-hour before.
Hey, it's good.
I think the longest I've done is like 7, and I thought I was gonna fall over.
Yeah, you know, Faceless Clown does regular 24 hours.
Yeah.
And
How though?
I don't know, man.
Does he not have like a full-time job? Or like
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I swore off 24-hour streams. They're not healthy, to say the least.
No.
I wanted to pass out for 2 days afterwards.
Yeah, right.
You probably would have to after that. Like, that's crazy.
No, it was miserable. I was miserable. That last 2 hours, you're just like, can I die yet?
Yeah, are we done yet? Well, it's like when...
Oh, by the way, the graphics look good. I saw you did some work there.
Yeah, I added a couple things in there.
Oh yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I've been working because like I don't know, I'm doing what I can because like what I feel like is a lot of Rocksmith streams will start to kind of
both of you have great new graphics, by the way. I was referring to our channel, but yeah, yours looks good too.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I was like, yeah, man, I've been working hard, but no, yeah.
I do have a lot of questions about your layout. I don't want to like.
Sure.
I know some of it might be secret if you want to keep it to yourself.
Yeah, some you know, there's like I've got 2 rules of streaming. Rule number 1 is never tell them everything you know.
Yeah, that's a good one. But you know, I thought we were friends, and I'm just kidding.
I was waiting for you to ask about rule number 2.
Well, it's rule number 2.
You don't talk about it.
You don't like Fight
Club? I don't tell you everything I don't tell you everything. That's rule number 2.
I guess I walked into that one.
Yeah. All right.
But,
anyway.
I mean, I could ask Wolfmother because like he coded the bot and stuff, but a lot of those I've seen like a lot of people use tags like warm-ups stuff like that.
Okay.
How do you do that? Like
I actually don't know. I think you can just the mods all do that for me.
It's in RS playlist. You go to the back, so you log in and you go to the back end and you can create tags and add them. Like when we're having people
That's awesome.
Yeah, when we're having people download stuff for us when we were playing, you know, non-official stuff, it really helped because we didn't have a drop pedal at first, so being able to tag the tuning, tag what instruments are available, because it's a 2-player stream. If there's only bass and guitar, it's kind of nice to see, oh, the next song coming up is 1 bass and 1 guitar, so one of us would get ready. So
wicked.
Yeah. And then, you know, of course, all our mods started tagging their favorite songs and messing with each other, you know.
Naturally. Oh, yeah. Naturally.
Oh, by the way, don't forget to fill out the bio section on our page.
Shoot, yeah, I've got to go do that. Nobody needs to know anything about me.
You could just like put incognito or whatever.
I'm following iYoungGun's rule number 2.
Don't tell them everything you know.
Yeah, man, that's even yesterday, that 7.5-hour stream, I was like, when we started streaming, like 2 hours, like, oh my God, I'm going to die. 2 hours of standing, you know? Yeah. And we worked up like a 4-hour stream was nice, you know, okay, whatever. That was about the limit. And then once we went to officials only, and the stream started going way smoother. It was like all of a sudden at 2 hours, we're like, I'm exhausted because there was not that downtime where you're downloading songs, playing with charts. And like, we just played like 2 hours straight with like no gaps in there. And we're just talking about that. We kind of have to, we're gonna have to work in some breaks. Otherwise,
it's rough, man. I mean, I've done it for so long, I guess, that it kind of feels like 4 hours kind of feels like nothing now. I mean, if I only stream 4 hours, I feel like I'm shorting, you know, the fans somehow. Because like, you know, the requests will stack up in the queue and people 2 hours. Oh my God, where's my song?
Yeah,
I'm like, is that why you're here? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Fine,
I
I'll
thought
get
you
to you
wanted to hang out with
eventually.
us.
I thought
No,
you wanted to jam with us. I mean,
yeah,
what is
and
this?
that's like one of my big goals of like the end goal of the stream, right? Is to have it to where people are there to hang out and enjoy good music, and their requests are secondary.
Right.
Yeah, same
Because
here.
if requests are the primary like driving force of the stream, it's gonna limit the stream because I can only play one request at a time, and I still have that 9-minute limit, so that could get
Yeah.
barely 10 songs.
I like the idea of a 9-minute limit because I get some people that come in there and they're like request these 10-minute songs. I'm like, dude,
come on,
everybody's gonna leave. Like,
I
what
mean,
are you
I have a
doing?
way to get around that. I don't
Yeah.
know how much you get to hang around Eagle, but if for every dollar you donate, I'll play an extra minute of a song. Right? So $1 is 10 minutes, $2 11 minutes. That way, if you really want to hear me play something long, you can, but it's like a soft cap, right? I mean, there's ways around it. That's been pretty helpful. I mean, you get the people that come in and, oh my God, you're selling out, like.
Get out of here.
Okay, yeah, $1 selling out today.
$1,
Okay.
and you don't even get the whole dollar. You only get like
I know
73 cents of it. So like,
and what's funny is I've actually had people that I'm not gonna say any names, and you guys may not even know who they are anyway, but they actually will be like, they make it a point to advertise that they do play long songs.
Yeah.
Without a limit, just because they were upset with me, like, oh, I'm playing all the long songs, even though iYoungGun doesn't.
Have
So
fun. Yeah.
and that's like straight up advertising in somebody else's channel, which is
they weren't in my. I'm saying on their own channel. That was like their title. And that was like their pitch. You know what I'm saying? Like they were trying to say, imply like to watch them would be better. I'm like, all right, do your thing.
Have fun.
Just to.
It's rough too. Like if you know the song, you're like, okay, but then trying to sight read, nobody, that's tough.
10 minutes. And the other problem there is your super long songs are typically going to be your way harder ones because they're always going to come from their prog bands and your
theater. Yeah,
exactly.
The new Tool album,
the whole album.
Yeah,
I love when people like do a whole album request and they'll pay for it, right? I mean, because 45. Let's take it like 45-minute album. That's $36.
$36.
Yeah. That's a pretty solid full-time job.
Like, all right,
you're making
$60 an hour. Yeah, $60 an hour almost. Yeah,
exactly.
Almost minimum wage there.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, no, that'd be. Yeah, like he was saying, 50 to 60 an hour. Like that's.
Oh, I thought you said $5 or $6 an hour.
Oh no, I
like
said 36.
Yeah.
It'd be $36 for that album.
That's actually pretty good money.
I had, if you guys know, Shink Bros did that once, where he was like playing me the entirety of 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence from Dream Theater.
Yeah, I think I was there for that one actually.
Yeah, and he was like, I was like, all right, it's gonna be like, and he even gave me extra just because he's like, you're really good. So yeah, I'm super grateful when people, are up to doing that kind of stuff because I enjoy playing long songs. It's not that I don't like doing it. It's just a matter of trying to keep the balance of making sure everybody has a chance to hear their song while also everybody getting to hear the songs they really want to hear. It's hard, dude. It's once you get to a certain point, it gets really hard to like walk. There's so many lines you have to walk to try to please everybody, and sometimes you just can't. You got to let some people go by the wayside, and that's the hardest part. Yeah.
All the big streamers, you see that they all have that issue. It's like the whole random function, or like you go to French Stallions and his requests aren't. They're expensive, and it's exactly it when you have that many people watching.
Yeah, good luck requesting a song in Stallions unless you're really loaded.
Right. It's like, okay.
Does he charge per request?
Well, I mean, anybody can request, but you're gonna get your people that are paying for like $30 for a double VIP or his whole thing. And not to knock Stallion, right? I mean, he's doing work.
And
mad props to him to be able to do that.
We've talked about this in other streams where it's like you could accuse him of selling out, but I mean that's his job.
Yeah,
that's his job.
If that's how you make money,
and he's very clearly having a darn good time doing it.
Yeah, I hold nothing against him for that. If he can get away with it and people want to do it,
me either.
Absolutely,
props to him, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
And it just like speaking of that, something it's like the whole getting partnered as a Rocksmith stream.
No, let's not bring it up. It's a sore subject.
Well, I mean, there's a couple things there, and I don't know how much of that I can get into because, I there were some factors at play that I didn't have much control over involving other people in the community. I won't say anything else. I mean, I think I might have talked to you before about it, Bug, but some people okay, well, yeah, I don't want to cover it on
just
stream
kind of
very
that.
much.
It's so tough to do that and keep
Yeah.
people's interest. And you get all the people that come over from, like, we're talking about this, the Rock Band, Guitar Hero, Clone Hero, whatever streams, and they just want to see you perfect score game. Not, and they come in and you're like, well, it's not the same. It's similar.
Yeah, take your 5 buttons versus 144 buttons, right?
And it's like you said, it's like you give Matt Heafy the game and have him play his songs, he's not gonna get 100%.
No.
It's
unless it's one of his songs he knows by heart, right?
But even then, it's like, and well, I don't know if you got to watch any stream yesterday, but the song I think that tripped you up the most was Backcountry, right?
That's the only one I failed.
And it's crazy because,
I mean, that song's hard. Like,
well, the hardest part of the song is that when you get to the really, like, the bins, right, where Rocksmith hates registering bins. Not only is that the big factor there, you had those sections are like this thin, really, so you miss one note. You miss one note, you lose the section, or you lose your combo or whatever to knock you down to where you could fail the next section, and then so you miss, like, let's say you only get like 75% through that whole set of sections, but you miss all of one little section, you're done.
It's
so
you know how you get past it. You just don't play score
tag.
Oh, see, that's one thing I want to. I mean, I don't know how this is going to come off, but that's one thing I want to do more of to try to appeal to, because like that's one thing I'm really good at is score attack and just sight reading stuff in general. We've
been enjoying that a bit more, where it's like once you start to know a song, it's fun to go in there and play it. And it's like, go ahead.
Oh yeah, because I'm super competitive. Yeah. So I mean, I've got, I don't know, 20 something number ones on the PC, like all the official DLC leaderboards, and I want to throw more up there. I want to get some FCs, and I know I've actually had people like directly message me like, hey, when are you gonna do more score attack? We want to see you really
cool.
Put yourself up there. Yeah. So I'm gonna start doing more, like, because of the way the schedule works anyway. I can bring score attack Sundays back, and I'm gonna take Tuesdays off because of class. So I'm actually gonna do like a single day every week of just score attack stuff. Start it off with like a couple of FC grinds, because I need to FC Hysteria. I need to FC Knights of Sidonia. That's the hardest part of that one is because it doesn't like to register that bend on the 3rd fret, like that little part. So just getting the consistency there, which is actually one of the things that makes Blood and Thunder an impossible FC.
Dude, that
frick that song.
But the crazy thing is, and this is kind of where you see some people, where it's like, well, this guy played it better. I'm like, you can cheat. It's a game. You can play it so it registers, or you can play it so it sounds good.
And I try to walk that line.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of difference. It's like if you're playing a song like that at 95%, and you didn't have the game in front of you, nobody's gonna know that bend didn't register slightly, or that slide was like a 16th
power
note
chord slides.
Or it's like you get into those charts where they have the octaves, but they put the muted string in the middle, and you're like, some of that stuff, it just doesn't register, and
the custom charts you could just brush aside.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. But it's such you said, like, walking that fine line between playing a video game and people want to see you get those FCs and playing the song. If it sounds good, and you get a 95% on it, you probably know the song pretty well, you know, and then you have to kind of switch into game mode, to try and get it right, which is rough. I struggle with that. I'm not very good at Rocksmith the game. Playing songs in Rocksmith I love. And we've kind of, what we've been doing is trying to play with our own effects, which I'm not as good at some of those songs as I thought. Once you can hear your own amp and you're like, ooh,
I've had some of that before, like where even like those songs where the chart's really quiet and your volume really comes through, and I was like, wait a second, I'm not actually playing this as well as I thought it was.
Right. Yeah. And there's a few songs I'm like, oh, I'm not even playing that correctly at all. The game was registering it as correct, but then I hear it, I'm like, that sounds terrible. It's like, and Screech always likes to give me a hard time because the first song I FC'd on stream was, what was it? It was the Fortnite theme. And Yeah, she'll never let me forget that. You know, I'm like, get out of here.
Fortnite has a theme.
It was the default dance little song. It was like a minute
Oh
song or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, and someone requested it, and I think it was. Oh yeah, Rocktism requested. I think it was bass. Was it bass? It was bass only. Was it guitar? Okay, But yeah, then it's like beyond that, I'm like I've just played guitar too long without the game. Where she picks it up. Back there playing WoW. She picks the game up so well, and she's learning music along with the game, so it's natural for her. Where I just struggle with the game. I struggle with it, and some days I'm like, fuck this game. I just can't anymore, you know. But it's
that's the way I've been here lately. I've just been so frustrated. Like the game keeps crashing on me. OBS not picking it up. Like I don't know what's going on, man. Like I've just had so many issues with the game and OBS here lately. I'm about ready to flip the desk. Like it's just nuts. Like I even went in today after I streamed for a little while today. I went in and the crash logs for Rocksmith in the folder were like this long. And I was like, well, maybe if I just purge these and refresh it, maybe it'll. I'm afraid to reinstall it because of the crack and stuff. So I'm not gonna reinstall it. But
I had to reinstall it recently because it was doing. Rocksmith was doing something where I just had to reinstall everything. It wasn't picking up DLC. Like all the DLC just stopped working, which is weird because since we went to official only a few months ago, I think the game's crashed once. Which was, which is
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it too. I probably just need to go in there and just purge a bunch of stuff out.
And I was gonna say it's stuff like that. But you know, even with all those problems, all that, I will not hesitate to recommend this game to anyone.
Same.
Anyone that wants to play guitar, anyone that enjoys playing guitar. You know, I'm not gonna tell everyone, hey, yeah, go ahead and stream. It's awesome. You know, it's like you certainly have to, you know, be okay with failing on stuff. You know, where sometimes like, dude, this song is just beyond me. You know, it's like, it's okay. I'm going to listen to it the same as you, you know, but so many, like anytime anyone asks me about guitar, get Rocksmith. It's cheap. Even if you only, you know, spend the $30 with the cable to learn just the bass songs, and then you have an interface cable, there's so much you can do with that, you know, which
I think you can get the game on Steam sale for like $10.
Yeah. Then you have to buy the cable.
Cable's the
cable's like $30, I think.
I think it's cheaper than that. Well, I looked on Amazon recently. It was cheaper.
It must have come down. This is the last time I looked. I think it was.
It just depends on who's selling it, and like it'll go through ups and downs. Well, you brought up a point of like you don't recommend everybody stream it, but like if I feel like everybody streams it now.
Yeah,
there are so many Rocksmith streamers now.
It's.
Like,
do you realize what we've done?
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, like I look back to when I started, there were like 10 of us, maybe. I mean, it was like I've been almost 4 years now.
Yeah, that's
so I've been affiliated for a year, so probably a year and 3 months, 4 months for me. So
yeah, I just look back to when it was like it was me, it was Nova. If you guys know who Ultra Nova is, it was Wrath, Stallion was around, and Pentatonic Thugs. He's one of the originals. We had a group called the Digital Rockers before there was Rocksmith Unite. And then Wrath broke off of Digital Rockers, made Rocksmith Unite, and then that's when he brought like everybody together and we started. It was Gryffindor chick was there too still. Oh gosh, Miss Skelly. I can't remember what her full name was. There was Skelly, and then there was like one more that kind of just played around on the bass, but she had a lot of viewers too. But yeah, that was it. And now you look at it, there's like,
hey,
I don't know, I went and looked at the RS playlist bot just to count.
Dude.
There were 150, I think.
Even when we started playing like a year ago, it's almost a year now. I think last September. It was like maybe 30.
60s?
Yeah, 30, 40. It felt like it, but now I'm like, oh my Lord. You just scroll down. You're like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
And which, I mean, I'm sure there's some people on there that play it occasionally, you know, and I think the streams I enjoy the most are like the beginners because they're having so much fun with it. And then, you know, some of the better streamers, some people are just really good at the game. And then there's that middle ground where I think it's just a twitching in general where it's like you either have to have the personality and the great streamer, you have to be really good at the game, you know, and it's tough watching people that are kind of good, but boring. You know, it's like your streams like
when you know there's just somebody better that you would rather.
yeah.
Hey, not Eagle Bone.
No, I've been told several times. They're like, you know what? You're actually a pretty good player, but you're kind of boring. I had somebody tell me that one day. Like, didn't hold anything back, and I'm just like, well, do you want me to like? Do you just want me to take my shirt off to be a little bit more entertaining? Like, what do you want from me, dude? I'm here to play music.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you're a good player. You could just be like a little bit more energetic. And I think it's because like the majority of the time I'm just so focused on not trying to fuck up, or I'm trying to like nail something.
Yeah.
But I do catch myself sometimes where I'm just sitting there like, you know.
And
but
it's tough. It really is tough to play the song that you never played before. You're trying to celebrate it and follow chat. You know, that's definitely a skill.
I struggle with that for sure.
That's one thing I've worked really hard on.
Yeah, and you do a great job of it. And I'm lucky that I have an assistant that will.
Yeah, true.
When she's like, hey, that guy's talking to you. I'm like, well, okay, you know, it's like, so it's kind of nice having two eyes on the chat, but
that's a good point.
I actually just recently I have 2 chat windows open now.
Yeah.
So I have one on each side, so I can like in case I miss something, I can see it in two spots. So I'm like, yeah,
well, that's what we have.
So now when I want to ignore somebody, I can like double ignore them. Now. It's awesome.
So we have to do that too because we stand so far back.
Yeah.
We actually have 4 monitors set up for the game. We have the game over here because we both, it's the bigger monitor because we both have to see it from back there. We have the one with all the, you know, Streamlabs and all that. We have a monitor up here above the computer that has our playlist and the alerts. And then I have that monitor there used to be for the chat because I could swing it towards me and see the chat. So it's like, it's a setup.
It's now the dedicated WoW monitor.
Yeah, well, I can just use that computer and throw a chat up on there now. But yeah, it's pretty much, at least until I get it.
I would love a second computer to stream from. That would help me so much.
I haven't even thought of trying that.
This close to buying a computer the other day. There's such a good deal on one. I was like, you know,
just to have that power, because like Ospo, you see like what happens on my stream towards the end where the game starts like beep 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 beep.
Sounds like a robot.
I'm just like, yeah, dude. Just I don't know if it's my CPU. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's what it is because I did the memory thing and that didn't help. So dude, I don't know. I don't know what to do anymore. It sucks.
And it's as many problems as Rocksmith has. You know, it's an old game, but it's amazing because if you do any kind of audio work, audio just
not as old as WoW.
No, and it's you know, we'll get to that in a second, but it's amazing. Like you load up anything like Reaper or anything like that where you're doing audio work, and it just destroys your computer. Like if you don't have a powerful enough computer, it just kind of, you know. So that Rocksmith can do what it does. Read the music, play the notes, do all that without destroying your computer is pretty impressive. It's actually really good software.
Join us, Eagle.
Join us, Eagle.
Come play with us. That's what you all just reminded me of.
All playing. All of us. Just speaking of WoW, I have Miss Osbeck has a picture of me playing WoW. Would have probably been 2006.
Oh my god.
With her on my lap. Sit in my lap while I'm playing WoW, you know, and now I want to get a picture of her now. But you know, we'll do side by side.
You see those pictures now? Cool. People recreating their baby pictures.
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
We'll do that with WoW.
Hell yeah, Portnoy! Look at you go.
You get a shirt? I still need to get a Sandpit Turtle shirt. Screechy has one, but I don't have one yet. Did you cut the sleeves off that one? Not yet. Talking about cutting the sleeves off, getting rid of the arm prisons.
You know what sucks about
arm prisons? I'm actually wearing a sleeveless tee. I cut the arm prisons.
Something I want to talk about with Streamlabs and is like, first off, what sucks is the tank top
more expensive.
Like like $5 or $6 more, I think, than the one with sleeves, even though they're both like similar material, I think. And hey, you know how they did that Prime thing now? Yes. You gotta have stream. Okay, that screwed me because I was like, I had somebody, Tanner was asking like, hey, can you put a white one up there with just the logo? I was like, oh sure, yeah, that should be easy. And I go to add
anymore.
I can't add anything else. I've got 2 merch items and I can't add any more. They already make so much money off of me. Not so much. I mean, they make a good bit of money. Yeah, they gotta make at least, I don't know, they make a few bucks a shirt for free. Yeah. You know, they don't do anything. I'm the one that's selling the damn shirts. And
it's a tough one.
It's stupid, dude. Like,
I get
I
it.
know. When I saw that they were going to do that, I was like, that really sucks because now you can't go back and add stuff.
I didn't
I
know they
mean,
were doing it.
your grandfather did it, right? Like what you have stays, and
Yeah,
you
but
can earn what
true
you got.
items.
But yeah, but you can't add anything else. And it
Yeah, people were
sucks.
wanting like they wanted a mug, they wanted all this stuff that they had available to make, but now I have to have Prime for $10 a month, which I mean I've already got so many other subscription services I pay 10 to 15 bucks a month.
Now World of Warcraft.
Yeah. It makes
So
sense for the really big streamers that sell a ton of stuff. $10 is nothing to them, you know. It's
yeah,
like
but that's
Yeah.
gonna be like half the profits I make. I make
Yeah.
barely anything off the merch
Yeah.
because I priced it as low as I could so people could buy it at a reasonable
Right.
price.
I did the
I
same
mean,
thing.
And there's other servers out there. It was nice that it just integrated, you know, and gave you the alerts and all that. And I know they're counting on people being like, all right, I guess I'll do that. But it kind of, I saw that. I was like, man.
I'm just gonna switch stores.
Yeah.
I've seen so
think-
many people jump over to Stream Elements here lately. It's
Well,
nuts.
I don't mind this. The software is great.
I like
mean,
software.
Streamlabs OBS, yeah. So I don't have to worry about that. It's just a matter of I just need a better merch store.
Yeah.
It's just the merch store that sucks. So I think Design by Humans actually integrates with Twitch to where
does
it
pops
does.
an alert. It pops an alert when somebody buys something. So
See, that's cool. There you
I'm
go.
gonna start working on that and resetting everything.
And I imagine that Streamlabs, I mean, it can't be cheap to run that service. With,
Well,
I wonder how much longer that Streamlabs is going to be in beta. The Streamlabs OBS. Like,
yeah, that's true.
it's still in beta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beta. They just want to have an excuse when something goes wrong. Oh, it's still in beta.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it's like they're monetizing a lot of stuff, which I mean, it's a business. I get it. You know, it's like it's gonna happen with anything. But when you got OBS for free, you know,
That's
and
true.
you're basing your software on free software, which I mean was the whole purpose of it. Man, it's kind of tough to eat that and be like, I gotta pay for this now when it gets to that point.
Well, I mean, they do take with their alert stuff. They do take a cut of that donation stuff too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, which
Oh, do they really?
yeah,
if you want to use their alerts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm turning the alerts off.
That's no different than using PayPal. The nice thing is though that any kind of chargebacks and all that they deal with.
Yeah.
Which is,
And that's what I've heard, that Stream Elements does better with chargeback stuff than what Streamlabs does. I mean, I've never had an issue with it, so fingers crossed. But
yeah,
it's coming. I'm sure.
You know,
There'll be some dumbass kid that'll donate $500 instead of $5.
Yeah.
You know,
if it's a legit issue, sure, but you know, it's like the trolls that do it. And honestly, I mean,
speaking of trolls, you guys want to hear a good troll story? This actually happened yesterday. So, like, I don't know if you guys know, but I've been trying to like branch out a little bit. I've been playing a little bit more games than Rocksmith, mainly because I'm getting a little. Nope, never on my life, son. You will never get me there. Sorry, I'm not going back to Azeroth. I went once. It's just not that fun. I'm sorry. Like, it became a job for me, and I was just like, I'm not having fun with this anymore.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of branching out, trying to play other games. And yesterday, me and my little brother were playing Apex, and I just, you know, nobody ever comes in when I play other games, and like I don't care. Like, I'm just enjoying myself, right? I just happened to look over at chat, and it's like, "Hey, Fatso, you look like you could use a trip to McDonald's."
Jesus.
I'm just like, well, that's not very nice, but yeah, I am kind of hungry.
Are you offering? Yeah.
I was like, see ya. And then I banned him. But it was so funny. It was just like, but before I could click ban, he got one more fatty in there. And so, like, it stayed on my chat bar for like the rest of the stream. And I kept looking back over at it. It's just like, there, right in the face. I'm like,
I had one. I did that first round of the Raj Patel thing.
Oh yeah, you did it again this year, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, that's the one thing is like the last time I did it, it was pretty shit because that one judge was like, you had your follow alerts on, which I mean, okay, I mean reasonable maybe like if you're really like being nitpicky. But then she was like, oh, your Spotify was too loud and whatever.
What is this now? Like, explain, because I don't know.
It's this guy Raj Patel. He
I know Raj Patel.
He runs a talent show every year or every however often he does it, and so he just usually you have to try out, as far as I understand it. But they had one of the people come into my stream. They're like, "Come play the talent show, come play." I was like, you know, I had an interesting experience with it last time. They're like, "Oh, come on, they're gonna love you. It's better. You're better. Yada yada." I was like, "Oh, fine." So I did it again, and this time it was really good. I did Fat Lip to start it off, and they're like, okay, we know you can play better than that. Show me something, you know.
They said that to you?
They said
good
like, well,
way,
because I played it was in a good way. They're like, okay, we know that's not the extent.
Okay. I thought they were trolling you. I'm like, well, that's
no. They were real. These judges were awesome. They were all about it too. They were like, oh, we can tell you're having a blast. You're really good.
Except for the one you muted.
Okay, that happened. I had him muted for like 2 years apparently.
Oh man.
I muted him on the first time I went on.
Oh gotcha.
That's why I had him muted. He was part of that, and I don't remember why. It could have been. I want to say it had to do something with something to do with they told me to mute him or something like that.
Yeah.
I think I had to mute everybody so that I could
like on Discord or like
yes,
what?
yeah, I had a Discord muted, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was the guy that was running the whole thing for this like, so they're like, why can't you hear everybody? I can hear everybody else. They're like, why can't you hear him? I'm like, I don't know. And then I clicked on his name. I was like, oh, I had him muted. Sorry.
Sorry guys, I done gone and goofed.
So what was the time? Oh, the trolls. Yeah, getting back to trolls. So I played. They were like, play a hard song, play like something like really lead heavy. And the one girl was like, can you play 5s and 7s? And I'm like, do you mean
that song is so hard.
Do you mean 3s and 7s? And I was like, oh yeah, that song's pretty crazy. Let me give it a shot. And that's a pretty, a pretty easy one for me. It's got a, I mean, I've played it so much, it's just kind of second nature at this point. Especially that the main riff. Yeah.
I can't connect with it, dude. I don't know. It's just
they've got a weird style. That Queens of Stone Age. It's a weird.
It has like a lot of a lot of upstrokes, like upbeats in it, just to hit the. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's pretty kind of the same. Yeah,
pretty.
My picking is not that great anyway, so like I struggle with that. But I'm getting better. But like stuff that has a lot of like upbeats and you have to upstroke with your pick hand, it throws me.
Right.
But that was the best troll experience I've ever had yesterday. I'm just like, that was absolutely hilarious. I'm like, I've had people come in and call me fat before, but then they started topping a bunch of racist stuff. Like this guy's just like, you look like you could use a trip to McDonald's, fatso. I'm just like, dude, that's hilarious. Like I couldn't even make that up.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I am kind of hungry, but yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the views. Don't forget to follow.
Well, yeah, the troll thing is what I was getting to with that was, I played 3s and 7s, played it well, and then they're like, okay, play something even crazier, and so I picked Mikasa from Veil of Maya, and so I didn't think anything of it. I played it, and they're like, oh my god, that was insane. And then I get this one guy that comes in like the next day, and he's like, where's the shredding? And I'm like, yo, what do you mean? It's right here. He's like, yeah, well, you sucked on Mikasa yesterday. And I was like, wait, what? He was like, yeah, that was the dirtiest I've ever seen anybody play it. That was awful. Can you 100% it, lol? And I was like, what? And then I don't even know. He was just going off on how I played it like shit. And I was like, so I think Wolfmother banned him. And he gets on some other account and starts going at it again and again. And he was like, yeah, you suck, yada yada. I don't even. Wolfmother probably remembers it better than I do at this point. Just like,
it was really funny because
why are you gonna go into somebody's stream and
just don't watch? Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Just leave.
Twitch is pretty big.
Funny, like later on, like I had a few of my mods show up after. I'm like, well, where were you guys when I was getting fat earlier?
Sorry. Well, stop streaming while I'm at work.
Yeah, I'll be sure to like cater my stream schedule to your work schedule.
Yeah,
with the 3-hour time difference.
You have to base your stream around your mods, man.
Right.
That's your.
I have so many, but they never show up.
What?
I'm just gonna take their mods away and just be like, do this on my own. Hold on, it's like hold on, you gotta click ban and then just like resume the song. Like, all right.
It's too bad you can't make a Stream Deck key just to ban everyone.
Yo, they really should put that in there.
Ban everyone.
Good idea.
We've been lucky, honestly. We've only had maybe a couple trolls early on. The funny thing we got, especially when I first started streaming, is like, oh, so how long you guys been together? And we're just like, where? Rocktism. One of the first times Rocktism came in, how long you guys been married? And I'm like, so we joke about it now.
In the chat.
And then there's a point where we're like, all right, every stream title is father-daughter Rocksmith stream.
Yeah, you gotta really clarify.
And I'm like, we should have just had a Roll Tide sound bite somewhere to play in there, something like that. But
that's the thing you can't.
There you go.
I don't know. I feel like that's one like it's probably not the best like to joke about. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's weird because I don't think most of those people were trolling. I think
they're being
yeah, I think some of the
yeah.
people were legit, like da da da. I'm like, it's like, come
you
on
stand
now.
too far back away from the camera so people can't see the gray in your beard.
Yeah,
so like
exactly,
if you were closer, they'd be like, "Oh,
yeah.
these are dead."
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
but even that wasn't. Yeah, if our mods are our worst trolls, we need better mods. Yeah,
that's true. Very true.
But
there's a lot of truth in that statement.
Or you've got the best mods. Yeah, that you've got the
but
best
like
mods.
generally, like I don't want to jinx it or anything, but the Rocksmith community is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
like
yep.
Trust me, the Apex Legends community, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, I played a ton of that, and because I played it when the very first day it came out, and it was amazing. Like, it's kind of fallen off now because of all of the.
Now. Come play.
Too busy playing WoW.
Well, there's that, and then there's like, just like what they've been doing to try to take money from the community in terms of like all of the awful loot boxes and bullshit,
They fixed it.
EA,
they addressed it.
Just ruining it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as they did it in the first place, right? Because Respawn, they made 2 incredible games, Titanfall 1, Titanfall 2. Yep. I mean, those games are top tier shooters. EA screwed Respawn on Titanfall 2 because they made them release it between Call of Duty and Battlefield. And I'm like,
yeah, that was dumb.
That retarded because I mean, I don't know. Titanfall 2 is amazing, but then they made Apex. Apex came out swinging. It was awesome, and then they just start trying to take everybody's money. I mean, it's free to play. I understand you're gonna sell cosmetics to make your money, but
dude, I haven't spent a dime on it.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast with it.
It's just such a weird thing to me. I mean, most of my gaming was like mid to late '80s into the early '90s. It's like the last
back in my day.
I know it really, where it's like you went to Toys R Us, you spent $50 to $60 on a game, and it was your game, and that was it. Yeah. And it's like,
man, Toys R Us is no more. I just had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, gone. And Jeffrey's dead. Yeah.
And the giraffe's name was Jeffrey.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, dude.
And the last kind of game like that I played before getting back into WoW would have been like Quake. It's like, or Quake Arena, I guess maybe was the last one where I played that. Yeah, I played that, and then there's a period where I'm like, part of it was my work schedule. Working that kind of 4:30 to 1:30 shift. It's like, it's nice because I can come home and I'm like, okay, I've got some free time. But if I wanted to spend any time with like the rest of society, you kind of had to, work around that. Nobody adjusts your schedule when you work that. And I got to the point where it's like, hey, you want to go out? Remember, River City Ransom. And yeah, sure. What time are we meeting up? 7. Yeah, fuck you guys. 7 o'clock means we're going out at 9. Get home at midnight. I've got to get up at 3:30. No, it's like, you guys are done. You're not doing anything now. Let's go out now. Oh, what? It's 2 PM. I'm like, so,
See, like I could do that shit 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't do it now.
Not to say I never went out, but it didn't leave me a lot of free time to play. To play games. I know I would spend a lot of time playing games. It's like I would go over to my friend's house and we'd play like a whole season of Tecmo Bowl over the weekend. That's all we'd do the whole weekend. Play the whole season through.
Greatest game ever. We talked about it last.
Yeah, we talked about it last time. One of my all-time favorite games. Like, I'm gonna take the Patriots and win the Super Bowl. Steve Grogan's my quarterback type thing. It's like, and then Quake, and then I kind of stopped. My roommates had like Xboxes, whatever. So I played a little bit here and there. Yeah. But then, seeing all the games now, like you said, it's a weird model to me. And I just recently subscribed to the Photoshop cloud stuff. I was so against that for so long. I'm like, then I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what though? Like when I was actually doing design work, yeah, I paid $600 for, Photoshop. But one project, you make that back really. It's like, it was a legit business expense. So I'm like, $10 a month, that's actually not that bad,
Well, the only reason why they're doing that now is the combat piracy is a lot of it. It's a huge part of it because there for a while you just go on any torrent site and grab Microsoft Office or Windows or Photoshop and they're doing the whole subscription thing to combat that. And
And I absolutely don't blame them for that. But, you know, paying, I mean, for as often as new Photoshops came out, paying $120 for the year or whatever isn't terrible. But it's still as much.
I think that's what Microsoft charges for Office. It's like $100 a year or something like that.
Yeah, we just got the Microsoft Business at work. I set all that up, and it was similar. But yeah, I get it. But and I've been doing the music subscription service for a long time. But for games and like software like that, I was like, it was tough, And it's just like the games. I'm like, oh, this game's fun. Oh, you want me to pay? Forget it. I don't like this game enough. Except for WoW, that was the one game that got me back into doing that, and I played that for a long time. And a few times gone back here and there, but even so, yeah, Portnoy, I would do that too. Trust me, I was actually one of the few games I was really good at. And we were talking about this last stream, iYoungGun. There is a site called techmobile.org, I think it is, where they update Tecmo every season with the current NFL roster.
That's an NES game, right?
Yep. And they use an emulator to play it, and they have tournaments. They have like full-blown leagues where you play with whatever.
The full underground layer, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's crazy, and I'm like, ooh, I should do this. I'm like, no, I probably shouldn't do this because I've got other stuff to do.
That's why I don't play WoW, homie. It's the exact same reason.
Yeah, different.
You know what though?
It's not that much different. It's the same. It's like
It's been nice though. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry to get to level 60. I've done that before. I've played all of the vanilla content. I've done it. I did the raiding guild. I've done all that.
So did I. So I don't want to do it.
And we played a couple days where we played a few hours, but it's really going to be with her school and Jazz schedule. We plan on playing a couple times a week. If it takes us 6 months to get to level 60, it takes us 6 months to get to level 60. I want to go. I did that grind to get there as fast as I could the first time. This time I kind of want to go and experience stuff. It's like, oh, the stuff I skipped over before. I'm like, I don't want to do that. That's too long. Now I kind of want to go back and do it. So, and I know.
I have a question. Like, how are they going to do the patches and stuff? Well, are they not going to patch it at all? Or are they just going to leave it alone?
It's they're going in I think they call them phases, where it's at 112, like one of the last patches already. But what they're going to add in the PvP stuff, and then some of the later dungeons later on, the later raid instances. So
but they're not gonna put Burning Crusade back in and all that.
Who knows? I mean, legit, the way it's going right now, WoW Classic might kill off retail WoW type thing. It's like we'll see.
You really think so?
Just a full reset? Nah.
I don't know.
I don't know enough.
I mean, right now, just looking. I mean, it's for people that haven't played, Classic. Some of those guys might be like, "Forget this. This is too much work," And it's like. But I mean, how long before the first expansion came out originally? Like a year and a half or something like that.
It was like a year or two.
Yeah, it was a. We
got insurance.
Yeah, it was a while, So it's like even if they just get 2 years out of this, I think they'll be happy. I mean, WoW's been around. It's amazing how long that game. So as far as expansion, like the Burning Crusade, who knows? If it's popular enough, maybe. But
what if they make new stuff for Classic?
Right, and they fix the problems they had before and not go off the rails with making everything too easy. That's the thing is like when we log back in, I'm like, all these weapons are the same. Every pet's exactly the same. I'm like, some of the quality of life stuff is nice, but then I'm like, but pickup groups are supposed to be your. My guild's not on, or I can't find anyone. Let's do this, and it's probably going to be a disaster. But hey, I want to run the instance. Now that's like the default. And you just blow through it. I'm like, pickup groups shouldn't blow through these dungeons. They're supposed to be hard. These are the 40-man instances. Why is it skipping everything and going as fast as you can? That I didn't enjoy when we went back and did it, Yeah. And it's crazy how many of the Roxanne streamers are actually playing. It's pretty cool. And there's this weird right now. Some of those guys are just grinding the hell out and going so fast, and that'll slow down. I was like, I'm kind of curious how many Rocksmith streams have been skipped this last week. It's like, yeah. We haven't streamed in a couple weeks because we had a busy last week before school, and then this was the first week of school was this last week, so we haven't streamed in a while, but we got to get back on that next week.
Yeah. I can't skip streams. That's how I make my money.
No, exactly. And that this is just it's different for us. I totally understand that. It's different for a lot of streamers, probably.
Should have gotten autographs. Played with Boom and Chain.
Hey, you know what? If you come to TwitchCon, we're gonna have them all in the same room for a while.
That's gonna be crazy.
It is gonna be crazy.
Are you gonna have like a little couch for us to hang, the rest of us to hang out on? Like,
well, we're gonna have a green room stream.
Mrs. Ospike is very much against the green room stream, so we might not have that.
Why?
Against it? Why is that?
We have to do a green room stream. We could take turns streaming it on each other's channels.
The way our house is laid out, we basically have 2 living rooms. We have a front room and then a back room. The back room will be where all the food and where everyone can hang out, you know, and then the front room,
the green room,
and the front room will be the stream room, which is something like Wolf Mother and I were talking about that today. I'm like, dude, it's getting down to crunch time. We got like 4 weeks now. Yeah, it's 4 weeks. You better start practicing. And
yeah, I should really work on that solo for the Spirit of Radio.
we really were talking about that. I'm like, it would be really nice to start out the stream because she's FC'd Plug-in Baby a couple times, once on stream. And I'm like, oh, you know, I think the best I got on the base was like 99s or 98.9 or something like that. I'm like, I should just practice the rest of the month for that and just try and get it down. That'd be a cool way to start off the stream. We've never got it. FC. Yeah, we've never gotten that. We've never gotten a double FC, you know.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, so we're gonna have. Shut up. And we've got...
What'd she say?
She brought up the Fortnite song again.
There you go.
But yeah, so it'll be kind of nice to do that. We'll have the front room there, and you know, there's plenty of room in both rooms. And the back room is where we'll have all the food, the real Mexican food back there.
That's what I'm most excited about.
And yeah, and then we'll switch out.
Legit Mexican food. Let's go.
It's gonna be a bit of a grind for her back there, so you know, it'll be fun. And that's what something we wanted to do is get some of the streamers that can't make it out. We keep talking about this. We got to do it. Is get her to play some, you know, double plays like you've been doing with some of these streamers that can't.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell. We're having catered Taco Bell.
Taco Hell.
Yeah.
That's what I was like really happy when I moved here. Is like I used to live like not even half a mile from a Taco Bell, and then when I moved here like a month ago, it's like halfway across town. I'm like, yes, I don't have to go anymore because I'll have to be like, oh, I gotta go across town.
It's straight McDonald's now. Come on,
dude. Like where I live now, everything's across town. Like I live on like this side of town, and then you have town, and then you have this side of town. All the restaurants are on this side of town. So I'm like, and I got a second floor apartment. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go up and down steps a lot more. All the fast foods all across town. I'm gonna drop like 50 pounds in like 2 months. Just like, perfect. But then like there's one kink in the plan though. This is a bigger town where I live now, so now there's fucking DoorDash. So I'm like, I can DoorDash that Taco Bell.
$5. Oh yeah, don't ever do that. That's just not. You're paying the price of the food to get the food brought to you.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
it's not.
Which was one of them was just, I think we talked about it before, is completely screwing over their delivery drivers too.
It's DoorDash.
Was it DoorDash?
But I heard that they resolved that conflict.
Well, yeah, because they got exposed. Yeah, they kind of had to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think what they're doing was legal even, you know, it's like, or
but yeah, like Lunchbox is right though. So like, what if you want to order like 50 pounds of Taco Bell? Like, I don't know. It's only a $4 delivery fee.
Oh yeah, if you're having a party, it makes sense. Or you know, if you're having a sleepover, you know, it's like sure, it makes sense. You know, you got like she's got friends over hanging out, and like I don't feel like going out. You know, it's just no different than ordering pizza at that point. Yeah. But beyond that, I'm like, if I want the food bad enough, I'll go get it. And that's what for a while there was with soda. I'm like, if I want a soda bad enough, I'm gonna go get it. So we wouldn't keep soda in the house, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Magic Lunchbox. One step closer. We've got 30 followers. All right.
We'll be affiliated in no
time. But
no, we have to stream X amount of hours to get affiliate.
I think we'll get there streaming once a week for a few hours. It's not that high a goal.
In like a year.
Yeah, right.
It's fine.
The place we're getting to cater, we found this out. This place is called El Indio, and they've been in San Diego since like the 40s.
Young, I hope you ate before this because now we're gonna start talking about food.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
It's really gonna make you hungry.
Nah, I'm good.
They've been around for a long time, and they've had a couple locations, but one location where they pretty much they claim, and it's kind of hard to argue with them, that they invented the rolled taco. And whatever, it's their food is delicious. But one day we were
just to clarify, we are getting in and out when I land.
Oh, absolutely. I think
we're going straight there.
We're everyone we pick up, we're going straight to In and Out.
Is that when do you get in?
Thursday night at like 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, so like I guess we need to like figure out when and where when everybody's getting in and all
I'm getting
that.
there Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think we've got I should make a list of who I'm picking up when. Like I said, I'm taking that week off. So I have Tuesdays, Wednesdays off normally. So I'm taking that Thursday to Monday off in the following 2 days because that's going to be a busy week, you know.
Oh yeah.
My itinerary is actually pretty good. Like my flight out is not until 6, and my flight back is Monday at like noon.
So you're leaving Monday? Oh, cool.
Yeah, Monday. So it's pretty good. Like I'll take it. There's been a few flights where I've only had like 30 minutes to like get like halfway across the airport. So, and I have one layover, and like each layover is like an hour. So it's not bad at all. I'll take it.
Nice thing is the San Diego airport is small. Is it? Yeah,
good.
There's three terminals now. There's commuter terminal and then two, one of them international. But we looked it up before. It's the busiest single runway in the U.S. It's a small airport and it's insanely busy, and it's like the second or third busiest small airport in the world, I think, or it was in the top 5 or something like that. But it's easy.
I was lurking in Vista's stream the other day, and they were talking about when TwitchCon was in Long Beach, and how like everybody had to fly into LAX to get there, and they said LAX is an absolute nightmare because like you don't know if you're on the second or the bottom level, and then it's just like a giant mess.
In LAX,
I've never flown into LAX before.
The commuter terminal and the international terminal are okay. The domestic terminal is a nightmare.
No. Yeah.
Well, just getting there is a nightmare. It's kind of like Dodger Stadium. It's just a nightmare to get there. It's fine when you get there, but it's
the trip to getting there is the nightmare.
And when
I'm flying from. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, we went up there about 6 years ago. We flew to Greece to visit family, and we drove to LAX because for the 3 of us, it was like $500 cheaper to fly out of LAX. That's not,
I drove too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's 3 groups driving up there, because my mom and Miss Osweg's sister went, blah, blah. That was a heck of a drive, But once we got there, like I said, the international terminal is actually pretty easy, but driving through LA, always a nightmare. Always. It's funny. You're like, oh, how am I going to avoid traffic? Nah, you don't want to avoid traffic. But yeah, back to your Long Beach thing. Slurpee, I don't remember. I think you went to that one up there. They were telling all the people going there, don't wander more than like 2 blocks away from the hotel or the convention center.
Like the hood?
Yeah, just don't. I don't know what possessed them to pick Long Beach. There's nice areas of Long Beach, but there's a lot more not nice areas. And
I feel like that's with every city though. Like there's always a not nice section of town that you just don't go.
Yeah, but it's kind of flip-flopped in Long Beach.
Pretty much all of downtown Atlanta.
Honestly, I haven't been to Long Beach in a long time, but it was usually you're like 80% good. That 20% you go to. Long Beach was the other way around. That 20% is good. The other 80% you don't go to.
Right.
And then San Jose, from what I understood, was a disaster for TwitchCon up there.
Really?
Yeah, with the lines, they just did not do a good job. And I'm like, why would you guys ever leave San Diego? They're like the convention center. They're experts at putting on conventions.
They left San Diego because of.
I don't know if they did. I think they're just trying to, diversify or something. But it's like, if you're going to do one city for conventions in the end of September, San Diego's a good spot for it. The weather's beautiful. The convention center is amazing. I'll admit it, we don't have the best public transportation, but that kind of is not as big an issue with things like Uber and Lyft and all that. It's not as big a deal. And if you're staying downtown's walkable. It really is. We've got a tiny, compared to some places, we have a tiny downtown. Our downtown is not very big, It really is a small town, big city. I mean, 1.3 million people, whatever, but it doesn't feel like it sometimes, It's like I know so many people. I mean, I've lived here 40-something years now, too, which helps. Yeah. But it really is a small town, big city. It's kind of weird. Wolf Mother knows. Wolf Mother's here.
It's kind of like Lexington, I feel.
Like I said.
Small town, big city.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm flying from Lexington to Detroit, and then I have an hour layover in Detroit, and then I'm doing Detroit to San Diego, and then on the way back I'm San Diego to Atlanta, which will be a really long flight, and then I'll have an hour layover in Atlanta, and then Atlanta. So,
dude, I'm nonstop both ways.
Well, yeah, you live in Texas, homie. Like, I'm a little bit further.
I'm just it's easy. Yeah, nice and easy.
Yeah, right. That works out well, and it's gonna be a busy weekend. Like, I know we've been talking about some of the stuff to do there, and it's gonna be really cool. It's just the whole, like I said, the Rocksmith community is so good on Twitch, and the whole reason I came over to Twitch and even started hanging out, the first 2 streams I subscribed to, Dunby, we've talked about. I followed her over from. I really kind of started looking at Twitch because I started playing WoW. We like got on to like, hey, let's check it out, and I'm like, oh, all the add-ons, all the curse add-ons, are through Twitch now.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a bunch of YouTube videos, so she was the very first subscription I did. I think I'm at 17 months now with hers. And then iYoungGun was the second one I subscribed to. Yeah.
Damn.
Which I think was 16 months ago.
Yeah, we're getting up there, man.
Yeah, I think
you were one of my first Rocksmith streamers I came across, iYoungGun.
Yeah. Well, you're one of the
originals. I want to say it was you and like Chainbrain. Like I said, I've only been doing this for like a year. Like affiliated for like a year. But I remember I popped into your stream and I randomly got gifted a sub like as soon as I popped in.
Yeah.
That always helps.
I love that stuff, dude. Oh,
I was like, whoa, what is this?
Speaking of,
holy crap.
September starting what, tomorrow? Or no, the 3rd, right? On Tuesday?
Yeah, was it you, Wolf Mother?
I'm sure it was Wolf Mother. It was Wolf Mother or Moon Butter, I'm sure.
Right.
I had to have been because like I literally had just clicked in your stream and it was like watching you shred on something and it was like, you've been gifted the sub, and I'm like, whoa, shit. I was like,
yeah, dude.
The love
and the other things that gets me about the whole partnership thing is like, I've got more subs than so many of their partners, I mean, I understand they're anal about the whole 75 thing, but look, I just want them to look at like the bottom line from my stream for them and just realize what they're getting off of me,
Oh, dude, don't let it get to you. Like, I mean, a lot of it for them, they're like, I feel like now since like their homeboy Ninja left, they gonna keep your head up.
No, yeah.
They're just keep trying. Like, you'll get it. I'm pushing for you. I always try to lurk your stream every day I see you on.
I lurk. The early streams I'm lurking at work. God, I'm coming up on 1,000 hours in your stream.
Damn. Yeah,
you can actually look.
Yeah. You just if you type ! Ammo in my chat.
Yeah.
It'll show you hours spent, and it'll show you.
I should probably not top that.
Honestly, Screechy's probably close to that, even though it won't show it because usually I have when we're hanging out here, I'll have the stream up and she's not, got it up. But she's almost when I'm lurking, she's lurking is generally what's going on or watching. So yeah, it's
appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time.
Screechy only comes in my stream to troll me with Saint Anger.
Ew.
I don't know what you're talking
about. And you haven't banned her yet?
I told her one more time. That's it. I'm swinging the Banehammer. I've gotten pretty good at it here lately.
Right?
I'm sorry.
You're gonna learn to love the song.
That's unfortunate.
I'm just gonna stop playing other games.
Yeah, expert at watching streams with 10,000 hours.
Like,
right?
I feel like in my bio, I'm like, I don't like to self promote. I don't like to advertise. I'm like, hey, I'm just here to hang out. I like to play music. I like to play games. Come chill. Mm-hmm. But then, like, you get the 1 or 2 assholes that come in and say, you're kind of boring or you're kind of fat. And I'm like, this kind of ruins the whole reason why I want to do this,
Right.
But I'm just like, hey, man, I don't pressure anybody. I don't advertise. I'm like, just hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I appreciate everybody that's subbed and stuff and giving me money. Like, it's pretty cool.
And
like, you feel so good when you get that first sub. Like, I'll never forget my first sub.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, oh my god, like somebody gave me $5. Well, I got $250 of it, but like somebody liked me enough to give me $5. Like, that means a lot,
Mm-hmm.
Beyond Screechy, Miss Ospag, and Slurpee, I think the first sub for someone that I didn't already know for us was Wolf Mother. I'm pretty sure it was Wolf Mother. Yeah.
The legend himself.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Who I really just recently gotten to know over the last month.
And hey, we got
so behind.
We've got a few of the, Wolf Mother's gonna be on the charity stream. Magic Lunchbox will be on there, and Wolf Mother,
Chainbrain.
yeah, Chainbrain, iYoungGun, Fallout, Robbie's gonna be there, Slurpee, yeah, a couple. I mean, Slurpee.
I'm surprised Robbie's not here and not destroyed by the hurricane.
Maybe
Have
he
you
is.
seen that dude? It looks so gnarly.
Maybe that's why he's not here.
It's Cat 5 now, isn't it?
It's Cat 5 now. Like it looks so bad. Like Robbie and I were playing Diablo yesterday. We were streaming and I was like, Robbie, don't die. he's like, no, homie, I'm gonna ride it out. He's like, I'm here till I blow away. I'm playing WoW until the internet gets cut off and the power goes out.
Exactly what I was thinking, iYoungGun. Well, it's fun. Robbie and I were talking about the other day, and like hurricanes for them is like earthquakes for us. I was like, ooh, the earth's moving.
You just get a case of beer and a bottle of liquor and you just ride it out.
And it's like, for them, at least they have some warning. But for earthquakes, there's nothing you can do about it. It's like it happens if it destroys everything. And I
literally just start shaking. Good luck.
And that would be so wild to experience an earthquake. I've never experienced one. Like I wouldn't know what it was.
I wouldn't. I don't want to. I'm good. Count me out of earthquakes.
What are you supposed to do? Like, are you supposed to like stand in the doorway or whatever?
No, basically, if you've ever been in an earthquake, you don't get to move. It's not like you can go. It's like when the earth's moving, it's usually you're like, I'm just gonna stay here. It's like let it go. If it's really starts shaking, like maybe I'll get under the table or something like that. But there's not much you can do. It's like.
Have you had one that's like really, really rough? Like, have you had one that like literally scared the shit out of you?
I've never had one that scared the shit out of me, but we've had some where like we're over at Mrs. Osbug's mom's house a few Easters ago, where we're sitting there, all of a sudden it was like, you're like, whoa,
like the whole
you could see the walls moving, and you're like, wow, it's like when you've been through enough of them, you're like, oh, it's like, and that one was crazy because it lasted about 15-20 seconds. That was a long one.
Yeah, so they're really short. They don't. Well, here I am sitting here thinking the fucker shakes for like 30 minutes.
No,
that's what movies will have you think. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen Volcano way too many times.
Well, the thing is that like the ones that we had recently in kind of central California, there was one earthquake. Well, there was a few big earthquakes, like 5s and 6s, and earthquakes are weird because like. A 7 is exponentially worse than a 6. It's an exponential, it's a logarithmic scale. So it's crazy. When you get up to like those 8 and 9s, you're like, damn. That's when stuff gets destroyed.
Those are pretty rare though, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's like seeing anything in the 9s is like a major earthquake. But the weird thing is that there's a huge difference on where it's located and how deep it is. Like there's multiple types of earthquakes. There's ones where it go up and down. There's ones that go back and forth. There are ones that kind of do, it's like, but some of those earthquakes are deep. Like, they're like 2 miles under the earth. So it's like, things moved, but it wasn't that big a deal. There's some that are on the surface where like the one that we had recently, like I said, in Central California, actually split. There's splits in the ground. Like there's new openings, fissures in the ground. The ones that like, they get
like,
South
damn,
America.
now the sidewalks are uneven again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. And
that's
like
crazy.
We've never had a really bad one locally. We've had stuff shake, but so many of the and it's like it's weird because we don't have brick buildings here. It's like you go like the Midwest where they have lots of storms and you see like the street lights on wires. It's like we don't have that here. I'm imagining there's not a huge amount of subways because earthquakes. It's like there's so many codes around it. These buildings are designed to move. You don't want rigid buildings because those are the ones that get destroyed, but you see these buildings and they're like doing that at the top and you're like, that's crazy, but they're designed to do that. And there's a couple science centers that'll have like the earthquake simulators where you go in there and see like, oh, what's it like during a 9 earthquake? You're not running. You're not running to hide under a table under a wall. You're kind of
you can't move probably.
Yeah. It looks like the bridge of Star Trek where everyone's getting thrown around and it's like
the camera's all shaking.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. You can't move. Even if you wanted to, it's like you take a step and all of a sudden you're going the other way. It's like being on a boat in a storm almost and most of them are pretty quick. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll experience one. But the one
I don't want to.
I'm good.
Yeah. And there's lots of 4s and 5s. Those are like, oh, you might feel it, but it's not, it's not really causing damage. But after that last one, which I think the highest one that was like close to a 6, something like that, over the next like day or two, there was like 600 earthquakes. Most of that registered like in between that 3 and 4 range, and it was nuts. You know, it's like while you're looking at that, you're like, okay, the Earth's angry, you know. But
I know, Future. I would have remembered if we had one while I was there. That must have been before I got there.
Okay. Oh,
no, don't start that.
Yeah, now you're gonna make me yawn.
It's contagious.
But the one thing I think we're talking about, I was pointing out to someone on the stream, is weather in San Diego at the end of September. Our hottest months, I think August has the highest average. September and October have the highest highs. Like, it gets hot. Yeah, so it's like
how hot?
Yeah, how hot we talking here? Because Eagle doesn't do well in hot climates.
You're gonna I mean, most of it is probably gonna be in like the high 70s, mid 80s, which is not terrible. Terrible. That I mean, I'm talking about average temperature. You know. But then you're gonna get that, you know, it's 98 degrees and like 2% humidity, and to me those are miserable. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
you ain't experienced Kentucky humidity.
No,
like, I don't want to talk about it.
Both those extremes. Like, I would not want to experience that 90% humidity, but we get what's called Santa Ana. They're called Santa Ana winds, where it's like these winds blowing off the mountains, or come out. It's like the weird weather phenomenon where it just makes everything super dry, and then you got these winds, and they're just hot. The winds are just hot,
like dry, like when SpongeBob went over to Sandy's house for the first time. Dry.
Yeah, you get like single digit humidity, so that's actually a perfect example. And it's like your hands, you like bang it, and your finger splits and starts bleeding because it's so not humid. Whatever the opposite is, dry. It is. It's horrible. Mrs. Ospec loves it because it does wonders for her hair. Her hair's flat. There's no humidity. It's like, but for me, I'm like, wake up in the morning. I'm like, oh man, my nose is bleeding again because it's like 3% humidity. It's not all the time. Or it's like, still. Oh man, now my nose is bleeding. It's like,
we can handle a nosebleed. We're only going to be there for a weekend.
Yeah, but it's like it's a different But for us,
I'm more concerned with going into anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
Being in your house.
And, it's like we're not known for our extreme weather, for sure. But going into September, October, where some places are starting winter in October, it's like that's probably one of our hotter, consistent months. Like I think August is the highest average, but October and September get the higher highs. All of a sudden, it's like, and it's also really dry, which is when we get all those forest fires and fires all the time, which is... one
side of the U.S. has fires, the other side has hurricanes.
Yeah, and we haven't had San Diego hasn't had a really bad one in a few years, but I mean, LA had some terrible ones last year, and that's one of those things. It's like, I'll take the earthquakes over the fires for sure.
Yeah.
But the one weird thing is we are a very rare climate. It's the Mediterranean climate. There's like 3 places. It's here, Greece, where my dad lived for 50 years. And I think stretches of Australia have it. It's just really weird, it's only certain areas that have the right things. But then we have the mountains east of us. Which
Lunchbox, what are you talking about, dude?
a GoldenEye tournament.
I'm like, what's a Golfy prize? Like, what is this guy talking about?
I think he meant to say Goofy prize.
But
you
interpret it better than I can.
It's this weird, it's called a rain shadow that the mountains put over San Diego, where you'll see the radar. Like, I think we've talked about it before. You'll see the radar doing, it's like the storm moving up and it goes around San Diego. And then destroys LA and Santa Barbara, it goes up the coast. But just the way the mountains are, so that's, part of the reason there. So just weird weather patterns. Then we got what they call May gray and June gloom, where the water and the air, get this weird, it looks like San Francisco, where it just puts this fog, but it only goes like maybe a mile inland, and then it's like sunny. And for me, I live a bit east of downtown or the ocean, and then I work on the on the bay. You'll get people coming down. They're in like shorts and a t-shirt because and where they're coming from, it's like 90 degrees. And then
this weather's freezing.
They come to work and it's like 58 and overcast and kind of almost wet, and they're like, what the
Yeah.
I think we mentioned it before, is MTV did one of their spring breaks here once
they never did it again after.
No, they did it one time after that, but they did the summer break thing here. But they did that, and they're like expecting it to be San Diego, you know, sunny and nice and all that, and it was gray and overcast and just miserable at the beach.
I
And
You think
remember.
somebody better research that,
right? You know that, yeah. You could have asked anyone in San Diego, and they're like, "Yeah, that's a bad time to come out here. Don't even bother. Go to
right?
Padre Island or something like that. Go to Texas." But yeah, it's here, and as for me, it's kind of weird because I grew up in San Diego. My dad moved to Greece in the '60s, and he lived there until he died. And almost the exact same climate. And I was saying earlier when we went on vacation, Portnoy was talking about this earlier. The whole he'll pay extra for nonstop to not do the transfers. And when I was younger, it would always be fly from San Diego because I always flew TWA, which isn't around anymore. Be San Diego to St. Louis, where the hub was, to New York, then to usually Italy, and then on to Athens. It was miserable. It was miserable. And then the first time I flew out of Paris straight to LA, coming home. I was like, why would I ever not do that again? You know, and it's like, it's right. Really, it's like you look at the globe and the polar, route is by far the shortest and the quickest. I'm like, that's just amazing. I didn't have to go through customs in JFK, which was a nightmare. You know, it was like, I skipped that whole flight across the middle of the U.S., which was just boring. You know, it was like, I think it was a 6 or 7 hour flight from San Diego to New York if I flew direct, or it ended up being like 10 or 12 hours if I did the stop. And then like another 10 hours to Greece or Italy, depending on where I went. The flight from LA to Paris was like 13 hours. And then it was like a 2 or 3 hour flight to Greece from there. So it just cut out. So yeah, exactly. It was like, and this was when I was Screechy's age or younger,
Are we there yet?
Yeah. The one cool thing is that because you're, minor traveling, I sit first class more than a few times. They're like, "Oh yeah, come up here with all the other kids that are traveling," and they just let us sit in first class. And I'm like,
"Party."
And then it's like between.
We'll do that now.
No, and then between flights, you get to sit in the, whatever the frequent flyer lounge was, and they'd bring you, snacks and drinks. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but yeah, I would. The shortest flight, the better. I don't hate flying. I don't think it's a terrible experience. Whatever, it is what it is, but. If I can cut out half my trip by going from, LA to Paris instead of New York.
What if you don't know how to read, Portnoy?
Oh, man.
You're screwed.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, now it's crazy. All the planes have like the, in-seat entertainment and all that stuff. It's you can choose what you want to watch.
Brain hurty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nowadays, let's see, I flew to Ireland from New York. It was about an 8 hour flight. It honestly wasn't that bad because, digital age, everybody's got an iPad or a phone and jams and everything. But I'd say 15 years ago, that 8 hour flight would have been miserable. No thanks.
I mean, you got books. Yeah, books are,
Oh, yeah. Books. I mean, if you have a Kindle.
I'm a big reader, so I don't know.
That was
like 4 hours later, I don't even realize time's passed, You can just zone out.
Do you read a lot, or is it
I used to, especially in high school. And then I don't as much anymore, but I still can get into it if I have a good book in front of me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love reading, and it's
I need to do it more.
It's kind of sad seeing all the bookstores kind of falling by the wayside,
disappear.
We spent a lot of time when she was younger. Because of my schedule, I had days off during the middle of the week, so I got to spend, days. We'd just go to Borders and hang out. She'd hang on the kids section and do that. And
those bugs read all the Berenstain Bears
multiple times. Well, I read them. My younger brother read them, and she read a lot of them. So I've had multiple generations of Bernstein Bears. Bernstein Bears.
Them all too, yeah. Berenstain Bears, yeah.
Bernstein.
Yeah, those were. I remember those being a big part of my childhood.
It's kind of like,
and then, my little brother, when he was born, is like a completely different generation. So it's all TV now.
Yeah.
I remember my mom trying to read to my little brother some Berenstain Bears, and he was just like, "This sucks." I'll never forget that. And I'm just like, these were my childhood. I'm like, you can't not hate them, You know
what though? I am all on board for audiobooks. I've got
audiobooks and podcasts, dude. They're the best. When I was commuting to work, before I moved here, I got so wrapped up in audiobooks and podcasts. That's why I was like, hey, you want to do a podcast?
Just in general.
I mean, I'd listen to us.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I would
listen to
still rather read a book, but there are definitely advantages to those audiobooks. You know,
especially when they're read by like really good people.
Yeah. And that's a huge factor. Some of them are terrible where I'm like, nope, not going to happen. You know, it's like same with podcasts. Like dropping her off at school, you know, on the way home, I'm like, I'm not going to fight the people going to work. They're in a legit hurry. I'm just going to go home and sit and probably, you know, watch YouTube anyway. So I might as well just listen to my podcast while I'm driving or, you know, whatever.
May as well throw on Joe Rogan.
That's, you know, that's one I've never really gotten into. And it's
really?
like, I'll watch the clips.
His are good.
I've heard nothing.
I love Joe Rogan, dude.
Heard so many good things about it, but just, I don't know why. It's like, I feel like it's like, I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, there's so many back episodes, you know? It's like, I hate not being caught up.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be super caught up.
No,
really,
no.
Every conversation's its own, you know, self-contained thing. Now he'll have guests on again where they revisit old topics, sure, but like
kind of like the Nerdist. I really like the Nerdist too, but I haven't been listening since.
Nerdist is good. I like H3
since he restarted.
Podcast.
Yeah,
really good.
You know who actually had a good podcast? Was actually really interesting. Was Josh Wolf and Freddie Prince, the Prince and the Wolf. Their podcast is actually really interesting. And it's especially interesting because you don't really think the case, but Freddie Prinze Jr. is a fighter. Like he's never done a pro. Obviously, he's got other concerns in his career, but he's been training martial arts and stuff since he was a kid.
Wolfmother's really hating on Joe Rogan. I don't understand why though.
He's hating.
I think he's great.
He's hating on Weezer too.
He's always got to hate on Weezer.
He hates Weezer and Offspring.
His shtick.
I'm surprised Screechy didn't choose Weezer and Offspring for the songs to play with him.
Oh man, I love Offspring.
Wolfmother would have canceled his flight.
Probably. He would not come to TwitchCon. Okay, so Offspring, like their first couple albums were huge for me.
Americana was like my high school. Like
Weezmother.
When that album came out,
Wolfspring.
You're getting outnumbered, man. You may as well just like submit. We all like Offspring. We all like Weezer. Well, just submit.
Okay, so
I'm not going to submit to your WoW, so you need to submit to this.
There's two bands that I feel kind of went opposite directions, and I didn't like either one of their directions. There are the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Offspring. Red Hot Chili Peppers, if you listen to their early stuff, they were goofy. They were so goofy. Yeah. They were kind of, you know, goobers, and then they got a little too serious, where I'm like, whatever works for you. I get it. And then I think Offspring was the other way. They were like a punk band, you know. It's like they're still pop punk, but they were a little more serious. And then they got after Pretty Fly got popular, they went super goofy, and I'm like,
that was like 2000 or 2001.
Yeah,
right?
And I mean, I saw them play, you know, on the Smash tour and all that. It's like their later stuff, I didn't enjoy either one of them much. Now, and the other problem with both of those bands, they got played so much on the radio.
Yeah.
So
but their lead singer is who I aspire to be. He is a legit rocket scientist.
He's a
dude has like a PhD. He's a flipping genius and plays in a punk rock band.
He like macro or microbiology, I forget. He's working on like basically a cure for AIDS is basically what he's doing, or a treatment for AIDS.
Yeah, like he's
a lecturer.
He's a genius. He's got an absolute genius.
Isn't the Bad Religion singer also?
He's archaeology or anthropology.
Yeah.
Get good. I need to work on my 4/4 bars, right? My power chords.
But beyond that, Dexter. He has a commercial pilot's license. He has his own hot shop or a hot sauce company. Like that guy, it's like, and
you love to see it.
Obviously, he was smart. But I don't know if he just took the money from the Offspring and did whatever the hell he wanted to do, but I'm like,
that's like what Shaq did. I mean, Shaq went and invested in so many things that he's set forever, right?
There was a few guys, like Shaq was a good one. There was one football player that was similar that, basically he pulled aside every rookie and he's like, bro, you got to invest your money. Let's, you know, and he just basically made almost not a career, but like, He would make sure these kids didn't blow all their money. You're not going to clubs every week.
You see it's actually a majority of those football players after a few years after they retire, they're bankrupt, you know.
And football, I mean, I don't enjoy football nearly as much since the Chargers left. That's its own thing.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, I'm the opposite with baseball and football. Where football, I love football. I played fantasy football. Tecmo Bowl is one of my favorite games for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was more of a Chargers fan than a football fan. Like I love football, but I'm like when the Chargers left, I'm like, I'm done. Well, with baseball, I'm a baseball fan first and a Padres fan second. If the Padres left, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna drive up to Lake Elsinore and go watch a minor league game. Minor league games are their own fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it reflected.
For a second there, I thought you said pod race, like episode 1, and then you said,
no, not the pod race. Yeah, well, I mean, the pod races were kind of. If they had a pod racing league, I'd be all over that.
And getting shot at by flipping sand people, I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't handle the pressure.
But while we're on this topic, actually, let's talk about 2 things that I think we kind of skipped over. One, you played baseball in college, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're a pitcher.
Yep. Yeah. Well, man, there's nothing like it, man. Because I mean, every play starts with you. You have that. I don't know, that pressure, I guess, and that's the kind of spot I live for, is to be kind of center of attention a little bit. I mean, that's why I like streaming too. But I mean, it was just there's something
Dude,
about
can
it.
Can you throw a knuckleball?
Yeah,
like
that was my off-speed pitch before I learned how to throw a curveball.
Oh man, I know a knuckleball is so hard to throw.
They're not easy, especially like to get one like the pros where it just literally does this.
It's like, I can throw a knuckleball that goes
it's truly amazing to see somebody throw a good knuckleball.
It goes like 40 miles an hour.
We'll play catch when I come down there.
But to see some of those guys that are throwing a knuckleball that's like in the high 70s, low 80s,
I couldn't do that. I mean, mine would barely touch 60.
I mean, that's insane. It's like you can see why. If a guy could do that, obviously there's not a lot of knuckleballers. It's like
that's one thing that they've been talking about. It's a dying thing, right? Because it's unreliable for the most part. You have to be a true master of a knuckleball,
right? And good.
I was gonna say, like, the way starting pitchers work is just completely different in the game. Plus now you have the balls that are changed, but they're not accepting it. They're not acknowledging it. They're like, oh no, baseball didn't change the ball. You guys are crazy. And then people are sitting here like record home run numbers since the steroid era, So
I remember the steroid era.
Well, to me, and you probably would recognize the pitcher, the biggest thing, you want to get rid of home runs, call the strike zone correctly. Like the strike zone is supposed to be from below the armpits to right above the knees, not from the belt to the knees. As many good pitchers, you see some of these pitchers in the 60s, everyone's like, oh, they were good and they threw at batters. I'm like, no, they're throwing off a mound that's a foot higher and they had like a full-size strike zone. Some of the pitchers now, if they had that advantage, dude.
Yeah, the strike zone's way smaller. And I mean, umpires nowadays, I mean, I've been watching some Astros games recently. I've been seeing some miserable calls. I saw one. I think it was Reddick that was that bat. It's at his ankles and they call it a strike.
Yep.
And I'm just like, okay, you're getting paid literally 6 figures just to make the right calls.
Yeah.
Freaking call the right. I don't know, man.
And it's not like you don't get enough practice.
A big basketball guy.
Yeah. Okay,
it's different where you live, right? So like out here, it's like basketball. Like Kentucky basketball. I've had so many people that are like, hey, you bleed blue? And I'm like, the hell are you talking about?
Do I look rich?
I'm not from Kentucky. I'm from Virginia. But like, I had somebody one time come up to me and it's like, are you watching the UK game tonight? I'm so excited. The Cats are going to win. And I'm like, no.
Woo.
And it's just like I stabbed them like right in the heart, dude, and like killed their firstborn. They're like, I'm never talking to you again. This guy hates basketball.
It's
but then like go to a different part of the country or like baseball is the thing. It's just it's all.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like that'd be like going to Nebraska. It's like, oh hey, you watching football? Oh yeah, Barcelona's playing tonight, and they'd probably it's like tar and feather you and run you out of the state.
Right. But I literally thought that was going to happen. Like no joke.
But just speaking of pitchers, you see Verlander threw a no-hitter today?
Yep. Yeah, I did, and I was actually looking at one of the threads on Reddit. They're like, Verlander's doing the thing, guys, and like, don't say it, nobody say it, because that's a huge thing, right? You bring it up, it's gonna jinx it.
Yeah.
And apparently, the guy that was casting the game was it was from the Blue Jays perspective. He was like actively trying to jinx it. So he was talking about, Verlander's throwing a no hitter right now.
That's always been the thing to me. It's like if that was the case, then everybody on our team would be like, hey, nice hit, no hitter going on there. It's like
I had that happen to me. I had that happen to me in high school. I was throwing a perfect game actually.
Oh,
not just a no hitter, a perfect game, right? Into the 5th inning. And this was the last inning because we were like up by 10 runs, and high school run rules. So you're up by so much after a certain point in the game ends automatically. So this is the last inning I needed, right? Playing against little old Holland, Texas, and before the inning starts, my shortstop walks up to me. He's like, "Dude, you're throwing a perfect game right now. Finish strong." I'm just looking at him like,
"You asshole!
You just did not do that." You know what happens next pitch? You know what happens next pitch?
Feedback, boys. I don't know where it's coming from.
Little bloop single over the shortstop's head.
Worse. But yeah, I heard the feedback too, Eaglebone. So
yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. We're getting a little bit of feedback.
I cannot hear.
I think it's from Ospo, so you might have to turn me down a little bit.
It's not too bad.
I don't have headphones on, so I'll just turn my mic down a bit.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
What happens is it's a ground ball right to him, and he throws it over the fence.
Okay, perfect.
Bye, perfect game.
So I remember one time we were on a school trip to Atlanta, and we went to a Braves game. And of course, the game we went to, I'll never forget it. The Braves are playing the Rockies, and the Rockies beat the Braves. Like, it was terrible. It was like 12-2. It was horrible. Like, got their asses destroyed.
Okay.
And then like the very next night we were there, they were playing again, and they threw a no hitter. The Braves threw a no hitter. Like the very next night, I'm like, are you flipping kidding me? I'm like, why couldn't we have went tonight instead of last night? I think it was like there was like one hit. It was really close to a no hitter, and then the last hit was hit in like the last inning. I was like, oh my god, I can't even begin to imagine. Like, I was so mad. Never forget it.
I've been
great story. I know.
Been watching baseball. Started going Padres games in '83. I've never. I mean, the Padres have never thrown.
Back in my day,
never thrown a no hitter. Obviously, never perfect game. So I've never seen one. And like,
man,
to me, it's like a perfect game is as much about luck as anything else. Like no hitters, like it's impressive.
For sure.
Yeah, perfect game. It's like you either get it or you don't. It's like
there's external factors involved in.
There's so much. Like you could be absolutely getting smashed, but your defense is playing so good that you end up with a perfect game. Or you could be pitching, spectacular, and your shortstop throws it in the stands, and there goes your perfect game.
Yeah.
Okay, quick question before we move on.
Mm-hmm.
Bunting to break up a no-hitter or perfect game.
Are you okay if you try it? No.
You're not okay with that?
No. That is one of the lowest things you can do, man.
Okay, like, I totally disagree.
What you're doing. Oh, really?
I totally disagree with that.
Maybe it's because I'm a pitcher.
Yeah, right, probably.
Like that's just you're taking. I think you got to look at the big picture, right? Because you're taking what would be a monumental thing, and you're putting your name just a little bit above that. You're like, oh, I'm gonna ruin it instead of letting this guy have his moment. It's such a selfish, and like if you're already gonna lose, I mean, at least try to earn the hit instead of.
Okay, what about the situation where Ben Davis did it to Kurt Schilling, where it was a 1-run game? He bunted. Okay, he got on.
Well, you said to ruin a no hitter, right?
Perfect game.
It was a perfect game.
He bunted, got on. They ended up scoring and going to extra innings. So it wasn't a close game. And who expects? It's like that's assuming it's like.
Then I guess it's because you said bunting just to ruin it.
Oh, okay, okay, fair enough.
You didn't say bunting to win.
Okay, someone's throwing a perfect game or a no hitter and you bunt because that's your best option. It's like I get it. If you're down, 13-0 and that guy's throwing a perfect game. The only problem I have with that is that you're assuming that like a bunt is an easier way to get on.
Well, because. Yeah, I mean, you're not expecting it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at that point in the game, like, oh, we're about to do this. We just need one more out,
Oh, yeah, that's true. But in that particular case, and that's one that comes up all the time, with Diamondback fans, where it's like, no, fuck you. It's like, guess what? We scored runs after that, so it worked. He did his job. We're not going to hand you.
Yeah, again, that's different. If you're going like,
right? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, just like if there's 2 outs in the 9th, you're down by 7 runs, and you just lay down some stupid bunt, get on. It's like I can see pitchers getting mad about that.
Right,
but hey, if it's still a close game, everything goes. I'm gonna, I would lean into the pitch. It's like take that pitch to get on base. You know, it's like,
yeah,
especially at the major league level where you're getting paid to win those games or, compete. And it's a close game.
right.
Messing up a game by, oh, no, it hit me. Yeah, I get that. It's.
Yeah.
And, oh, God, I saw this cool video. I'll have to see if I can link it to you. It was.
Okay.
I can't remember his name now. Yeah, I think he was playing for the Rangers at the time. The same guy that, remember, there's a little dribbler down the third baseline and got down on his hands and knees and started blowing it foul.
Oh, Elvis Andrews.
No, this was older. This was in like the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
I've seen. Okay. Oh, okay. You're talking about. Okay. I've seen what you're talking about though. Yeah.
Okay, so this guy.
Because he was just messing around.
I take it back. This was in the 70s because it was the series right before the 10-cent game in Cleveland. So I think it was Cleveland and Texas playing. Pitcher throws behind him. This guy lays down a bunt down the first baseline. Perfect so the pitcher can field it. As soon as the pitcher fields it, this guy just lays out the pitcher. Pitcher picks up, and this guy just blasts the pitcher for throwing behind him. And I was like, oh, my God, that was awesome. And, of course, he keeps running to first base like nothing happened. First baseman tackled him. And the dugout was on his own side, so his guys were on the field. And I was like, dude, normally I'm like, okay, it's like that's probably unnecessary. But I'm like, if you have the skill to place that bunt perfectly to where you can just wallop that pitcher.
Yeah.
And then the next series was when they went to Cleveland and they had the 10-cent beer night that turned into that,
Oh, yeah. I've
right.
heard this one, yeah.
And then, of course, the manager's like, oh, are you worried about retribution when you go to Cleveland? And he's like, they don't have enough fans for us to worry. I was like, oh, that was harsh. But, yeah. Okay, but, shoot, let me scroll up here. Someone was talking about.
It's Future making jokes about Major League.
Oh, Wild Thing, yeah. No, it was. I think we started talking about football and other sports. I kind of regret it now. I didn't play baseball in junior high and high school. Honestly, it was because I didn't like a lot of the people on the teams.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like baseball.
I hate when there's factors like that stop people from playing. Your coach sucks. Your coach is playing daddy ball or.
And I mean, I played, played soccer and baseball, through youth, and soccer came a lot easier for me. I was good at soccer. Like I could go probably play soccer now in a few weeks. I'll be okay at it. It's like this sport came naturally to me. While baseball, I had to work my ass off to be okay. It's like I could play the sport, and I had a few people, adult wise, tell me you should go try for the team. You'll probably make it, either as an outfielder or possibly pitching. Like you're smart enough to figure out the game and be able to pitch. And I was like, I don't want to. Now go looking back at it, I'm like, fuck those guys. I should have played anyway. And what's funny is when I ended up playing playing soccer in high school, a lot of the same players were on teams because they were, the athletes. All of a sudden I was on the team and they're nice to me. And I'm like, all right, it's
funny how that works. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I probably would have been fine playing baseball, but I just kind of stopped. And I picked it back up again, played adult league baseball for a while, which is a lot of fun. And I miss it. I miss playing baseball.
Yeah, I miss it so much, man. I've actually had dreams about playing still. Like I'm just like on the mound again, and I wake up and I'm like, no, let me go back.
Yeah. And funny enough, when I started playing adult league baseball, I ended up managing the team. And one of the local high schools, one of our players was a teacher there, so he had keys to the field. So we had access to their batting cages. We had access to the field and all that.
Oh, nice.
It was like fucking babysitting. It was like, it was easier to coach 6-year-olds than these adults.
Really?
And I'm like, one, making sure they all show up, making sure they pay their dues. We got sponsored eventually, so our uniforms were paid for. But it's like, no, your league's still not free. You're still paying because otherwise you're not going to show up to games if you have nothing on the line, So we reduced the fees a lot. We had some really cool old school uniforms. They're like baggy pants, like sleeveless. They were cool. I still have them somewhere. I'll have to show them.
Stirrups on the socks.
Yeah, we had the stirrups. I got some stirrups made for us.
Nice.
But it really was. It was like all they wanted to do at practice. Like, hey, let's play some live baseball. We'll throw some pitches in field. I'm like,
there's a lot more to the game than just playing the game.
I'm like, bro, you're going. It's like, one, our pitchers aren't good enough because none of you guys have played in a while. Two, everybody else is sitting around, with their thumb up their butt while you're being selective about your pitches. Like we got a batting cage right there. If you want to watch,
there's so many more things. You got everybody doing something and getting better.
Yeah, And at first, it's like I just took all the outfielders and just hit fly balls. We made games out in the outfield, and okay, it was kind of weird because the first couple seasons we played, our defense was so good that games were like 3-2, like real baseball games. But because you had like 12, 13 people on the team, you got like 2 at bats because our offense sucked. So you didn't, so it's like in that part of your league, the games that were actually better, the games were like 22-18 because everybody got to bat, But yeah, I miss playing baseball, and we're gonna go to a baseball game when iYoungGun comes out. We're gonna go to one of the, you'll see a Dodgers Padres game, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot of fun, and it's funny. It's like it used to be you hated the Dodgers, fuck LA,
Sure.
Now it's not as bad now, where I'm like, Dodger fans aren't that bad.
I feel like it's gotten like more relaxed across the board.
Yeah.
As like internet and stuff has like become more of a thing, right?
Well,
I mean, you used to have like people just Boston versus New York. I mean, I'm sure it's still that way now over there because those guys are crazy, but
I should go get my Braves hat and put it on.
And interleague play. It's like you see, it's like before it was like the Dodgers are our rivals. Now it's like, well, fuck the American League East. I'd rather see the Dodgers win the World Series than the Yankees. It's like that would have been unheard of late 80s or 90s. We're like, no, never. But it's also the Dodgers and the Padres fans hate the Giants. We both hate the Giants. It's one thing we can come together on. It's like, fuck
enemy of my enemy stuff.
Get the fuck out of here. Colorado, Arizona, who cares? It's like,
right.
San Francisco, get out of here. But those Padres Dodgers games were a lot of fun.
I feel like my dad had a lot more hatred toward the Mets than he did the Yankees. I just remember him saying "cursed Mets" all the time.
Braves fan?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. They're in the same division.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Divisional thing.
Well, I was raised a Braves fan. Sorry.
Hey, I mean, we used to hate the Braves as the Astros because they would always knock us out in the late 90s in the first round of the playoffs.
That's the way Padres are at the Cardinals. It's all the time. Every time we made it to the postseason and didn't play the Cardinals, we made it to the World Series. Every other time we played the Cardinals and got knocked out, and you're like, fuck these guys,
Well, I think one of the other things that comes with like the lessening of people hating other teams is the players don't have the same like loyalty to a team anymore, right? Because the teams don't have the same identity that they do. Because you get attached to players and you don't feel as connected to the team anymore in some senses.
It's weird though, because the problem there is that players have always moved around a lot. You just don't remember the guys that didn't move.
I guess, but like I feel like the Astros, we had that core of Biggio, Bagwell,
for a while. It's
for
just like
so long,
Yeah.
I mean, in the Cardinals, you had I just maybe you could be right. That could be just a confirmation bias kind of thing. When like back
and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, music in the '90s was great. Well, yeah, because you don't remember all the shitty bands. It's like, and we've talked about this with guitars. Oh, every 1970s Gibson I've played is awesome. Well, yeah, because the bad ones are in the trash. It's like
people they get ran over by a bulldozer.
People don't save people don't save the bad guitars. It's like they only save the good ones. So of course they're gonna seem better. When in reality, with all the CNC machines, it's like guitars are so much more consistent now.
Yeah, man. Like ever since the invention of the Plek machine, like to get a perfect setup on a guitar out of the box. I mean, where do you go from that? Where do we go from here? We now have a computerized machine that will look over the guitar from top to bottom with laser pinpoint precision.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
to ensure that the customer gets the perfect setup.
Yeah.
But yet, Gibson QC here lately has been a lot better within the last like 10 years. But I don't know. I'm having trouble putting this into words. Technology keeps growing, and you can get a guitar within reason. You can get a guitar from anywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
That has like
even the ones you see at Target with a little work are going to be okay. They're like legit. I mean, for like one of the Screechy's guitars we paid like $100 for. I put a new bridge and new tuners on it, and it's amazing. It's
that's the PRS I got that was made in Korea. Like, it's solid. It's a solid guitar, but like you said, the hardware on it sucks.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to spend like $50 and put a decent set of tuners on it and a good bridge, I'm telling you, like,
and it's Are you when do you say you're leaving, iYoungGun?
Leaving for what?
From leaving to go back home after TwitchCon.
Monday.
It's like the only
Monday,
place
my flight's at like 12:15.
Someone was asking about factory tours because there's a few guitar factories out here. The only one that does it regularly is Taylor, which going back to it, I'm just talking about making guitars. When it comes down to electric guitars, are pretty simple. Like you could legit take a plank of wood, put a neck on it, and throw some pickups in there, and you got an electric guitar. And it's been done. I mean, it's like not necessarily gonna be the best, but it's gonna work. You know, with a little bit of work, it's gonna be fine. While you start doing like acoustic guitars or like some of the high-end art shop jazz guitars or classical guitars, whole different art form. You can't really computerize that completely. You know, with the bending of the wood and all that. You can use it to assist. But it's like I said, Taylor gives factory tours, but I think it's Monday through Friday, like in the middle of the day. So I don't know if we're going to be there. I don't think we'll find a day where we can all go and do that, unfortunately.
Hey, speaking of guitars, did you guys see where they lifted the ban on the Rosewood? That's like huge.
No.
They did. Like, you know, like there for a while, they put a restriction on Rosewood
in Indian Rosewood, right?
Stuff.
No, there's one specific type. Yeah.
Now that the band's gone, so like prepare to see a lot more guitars with Rosewood fretboards, which is awesome.
The Reverend I have actually has a Rosewood fretboard, and I had to get a certificate from them saying it was purchased before the ban and blah blah blah. In case someone, you know, in case
it's like a whole dude is a whole ordeal, and like
I didn't even realize
this is kind of a big thing. Like a lot of guitar makers had been like substituting what they, you know, they say it's Rosewood, but it's not Rosewood.
Well,
like
there's different types of Rosewood. And there's a specific one that was banned that, you know, had specific patterns and all that. So I think that was it. And it wasn't all banned, but, you know, maybe Gibson started that fire into Amazon because they wanted to make some of that wood rarer so they could make guitars out of it.
You guys give me so much crap for playing Gibson guitars. Like, I'll never, ever hear the end of it. I really want.
Like, I mean, they're making pretty big fools of themselves lately.
I mean, I will agree with you. They really have been, and it's shameful. Like, because 15, let's just say a little further back than 15, but they made some really good instruments, and like, you know, they've went through their ups and downs, and now they got this new dumbass CEO that doesn't know his ass from his hole in the ground, but at least he wants to like take Gibson back to its roots and make a Les Paul now that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely dying to get my hands on a 50s or a 60s standard now, because it's literally stripped of all the crap they've added on the last like 10 years.
What kind of stuff have they been doing to it?
So like the Les Paul standard now, it doesn't have any like bells and whistles on it. It doesn't have coil taps. It doesn't have anything special. It's legit like a Les Paul like you would have gotten back in like the 50s or 60s.
Auto tuners.
Yeah, we won't talk about the auto tuners.
You know, one thing we did see was these really, really cool. It was like, was it Wolfmother saying he had one? The tuners.
I had one. I had a SG.
No, it wasn't an auto tuner, but the tuner had like a little like crank you pulled out of it, and you could twist the crank to turn the guitar. It was really. I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool. It's like you just flip it out.
I mean, coming from a guy that has a computer science background, I'm all for technology, okay? Like, I thought it was a really cool idea. It was just executed so poorly. Like, I mean, I've talked about this before. Like, I bought the SG when it had the robot tuners on it. Because, I mean, hey, this is something new. This is something cool.
Yeah.
This is something right up my alley. I can just push a button and it's going to, like, tune it. But it wouldn't keep the guitar in tune. It tuned it, like, 10 cents sharp every single time. Jeez, and I even like called the company. Like I called Gibson and was just like, look, I bought this. It won't keep the guitar in tune. Is there a way I can like reset it? Because like I thought it might have been like a calibration thing. And they're like, they just completely washed their hands of it. They're like, you need to call Tronicle. Tronicle is the company that built, you know, they just literally pawned me off on Tronicle. So I'll call Tronicle, and Tronicle's like, oh, did you read the book that came with it? And just like offered like no help,
RTFM,
none whatsoever.
Yeah.
So like I wound up selling the guitar. I wound up breaking even. So like I didn't lose any money on it, but
which is one nice thing about those higher end Gibsons. Guitar.
So like, you know, the great. I'll tell you what. The greatest thing about it was stringing the guitar. It was so easy. because like it had a string mode. You literally would just like unscrew the cap, put the string down in the hole, and then just hold a button underneath and you just wind the peg. You could literally string it in like 2 seconds. Because like every time I have to string a guitar now, I literally curse the entire time, or I'm ready to flip the table because I hate stringing my guitars. Like it's just a pain in the ass. I hate it.
Locking tuners.
I actually don't have like I have my other Les Paul has got a locking nut and a Floyd Rose.
Yeah.
But I actually don't have any locking tuners. But like locking tuners, please, like I would love to have locking tuners. You literally just like thread the string through the hole, tune it, and then just like lock it down and cut it.
Stays in tune better generally too.
Yeah, but like I appreciate what they were trying to do, but oh my god, like it was just a nightmare. Well, and like so this new CEO is like, forget all this stupid bells and whistles shit. We're not making any money. We went bankrupt. We're going back to our roots. So like I give him props to like what they're trying to do with the company, but at the same time, the guy is a total dumbass. Like you said, they've made complete fools of themselves, like putting out these videos, like play quality or play whatever it was that got taken down. It's just so embarrassing for a company that's been around over 100 years. Like, it's just nuts, dude.
I mean,
sorry, end rant.
It's just one weird thing where it's like, hey, you can be the CEO, you don't have to be the face of the company.
Right.
Hire someone else to do that. You know, it's like they're not necessarily going to overlap. I think the biggest problem Gibson has to overcome, beyond their own, you know, live authentic nonsense, is the fact that they let Epiphone, supposedly the cheap Gibson, be better than them. Like,
are you sure about that? Like,
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I played some Epiphones that were complete dog shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but I mean that could be different now. Like,
but there's a reason guys like Matt Heafy went with Epiphone for their custom models, because they did such a good job at a reasonable price. Like if he had made basically the same model with the Gibson tag on it, it would have been like a $3,000 guitar.
More. Yeah.
Instead of a $700 or $800 guitar.
And see that's with the new Les Pauls, like they brought the price down to what they should be for our time. Like now you can get one of the new Les Paul standards for like $2,200.
And the problem
is reasonable.
There's so many
before
custom...
that those Les Paul like higher end models 2 or 3 years ago, they were like $3,600.
And that's what I mean. It's like,
like nobody wants to spend that much money on a guitar.
The blues.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I paid for this, I paid $700 for this thing, right? I love this. This thing plays incredibly, and I can't imagine paying 3 times what I paid for this.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Some of those Gibsons may have been better.
Dude, I don't know.
They weren't $1,500 better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're paying for a name on the.
And like Wolfmother said, they thought their guitars at that point in time were 2000. So it's combined their poor quality control, which was a bit of a meme, I'm sure exaggerated on the internet.
Oh,
with the fact you could go pay $700 or $800 for an ESP or a Epiphone, or pay the same price for a custom made guitar by a small manufacturer who's going to make it exactly the way you want. That's what they have to overcome. Justify your guitars.
I will honestly admit, because I've always played Gibson, it has turned me into a little bit of a snob. Like now I go into Guitar Center and I'm like, well, look at all this shit on the used rack. You know, like I will fully admit, like it has turned me into a little bit of a snob.
See, that's my thing. Is like I want to have a different name on like every headstock on my rack. You know, like I don't know. I want to diversify it.
What do you have back there? Let's get into it.
LTD, Fender. That other one's a Fender, but that's the Hello Kitty thing that somebody did. Yeah. This one's Epiphone. Schecter. Bean. And then this is the green screen, you know, where
I was gonna say that's the invisible guitar.
Yeah, I got to do more with that thing, man. It's too good to pass up because I put new pickups in it. I just got to actually, you know, use the thing now. And then so I do have 2 Schecters. This is the Sinister, but again,
that one's sweet.
Floyd Rose. I freaking hate restringing Floyd Rose. I wish I could just put a string through. If I could just put a string through right here instead of this, I would be so happy. I would use it so much more. You think? I just don't know if they can.
You can get a
well, you can block it.
I know I can block it, but that doesn't change the fact that I have to like open the blocks up, cut the end of the string, put it in, reset the block, and then thread it, and then do everything. That takes like,
an hour.
it's just tedious. Yeah.
It takes me an hour to restring my Les Paul. And if you're like me and you have giant hands like I do, and you have to use these like teeny tiny piston Allen wrenches to do it, you're literally cursing the entire time.
Yeah, I hate it. So I'm gonna try to I'm just gonna try to have that fully replaced with the string through, because I love the body, I love the shape, and there's obviously the look of it, man. It's the
What's
symmetry.
the weight? What's the weight like? Weight is a huge factor.
Hey, God, I need one of those, man.
Yep.
Yeah, we all need Hello
Not only
Kitty
that,
picks.
it's like it's changes. It's like got this weird,
It's like holographic.
Yeah, almost.
I see it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I've seen something like that before. Like,
that was one of Streechy's first guitar picks.
Nice. That would go. Yeah, that would go so well. That would go so well with this thing. Look at that. I mean,
is it a Strat?
Yeah, it's a Strat.
There is a product called the Tremolo.
Yeah, the Tremolo. That's what it's called.
Which will block it for you and without having to change it, where you actually make it so it doesn't move at all. You can do well. There's 3 options. You can make it so it doesn't move at all. You can make it so it only goes down Van Halen style, or you can, and then you can.
I've seen the Tremolo. Yeah. But yeah, those are sick. But it's just a matter, like I said, of having, because I would still have to use the blocks. Like you got to take the block out, stick it down into the spot, and then put the block back. Hate it.
That's exactly what Wolf Mother.
Bro.
That's why she's good. Is the Hello Kitty picks.
That'll do it.
I'm kind of the same way you are.
I really want to get some custom picks made, like for real.
We were looking at doing it for the stream.
I already use these green picks. Like, it wouldn't take much for me to send them a pack of these and be like, "Hey, put my Rickle pick emote on this shit." I would just give them away. Be like, "Here you go."
Main pick we use, or now she's kind of moved on, was the Snake Bites James Hetfield pick, and you can actually get those custom made from Dunlop, whoever makes them.
Yeah.
And I was gonna get those, in that style, the size we use. I was gonna get some with the Screecher on one side and Noster on the other side. But the problem is that it's like an 800 order minimum. You have to order 800 picks.
Holy crap!
Yeah. But I was like, oh, if you, it's like if you get, they come in blocks of 200, so you get 4 different people to make them. It's like you have 4 different things on there.
Mm-hmm.
Kitty wants to eat the microphone.
Yeah, I think he's hungry.
Have you seen how like James Hetfield holds his pick?
Yeah.
He does the 3 finger. Like, how does anybody, that blows my mind.
Okay,
absolutely.
I don't know if we've really talked about this a lot, but have you checked out, I don't know if you've seen it, iYoungGun, Cracking the Code that Troy Grady does? They actually gave us some copies of their instructional program to give away, their base instructional program. It's a site that Cat farted before he left. That
nice. He tastes it.
Yeah, it's all about picking. Like their whole thing is picking is not, and this is kind of goes back to what we we're talking about before, is guitars with the auto tuning. They're not a perfectly intonable instrument. You can't make them perfect. Guitars by their nature are going to have problems. It's never going to be in tune over the whole fretboard. It's just not the way it is. It clearly doesn't matter because people have been making guitar music for, almost 100 years. That's just fine.
Right.
Now, just like you don't have to have, it'd be nice to have perfect pitch, but guess what? Most musicians don't have it, not a big deal. But this site specifically, he talks about why is it so hard to pick on a guitar. One, the guitar wasn't designed to be picked. It was designed to be classical guitar. And it's really cool because they really do a scientific. What he did is it started in the early 2000s. Originally, he had this high-speed camera that he wrote software for. It was like a medical grade camera, actually. I forget what it was called. There's a specific one. And he started getting he started doing it himself, but then he started getting really good guitar players. Guys like Michelangelo Badio, Steve Moore, just these guys, and would go film them. He'd mount the guitar to them and then break down what they're doing in super slow motion. And I actually kind of talk about how it was with Randy Johnson, where a lot of these guys didn't even know what they were doing. And then they would see the slow down video and they're like, oh, I didn't even know I did that. Because it's as much as the standard advice is, oh, play to metronome, start slow and go fast. If it was that easy, there'd be a lot more virtuoso guitar players. In the grand scheme of things, for as many guitar players as they are, compared to violin. or piano, where there's kids that are like 10, 11, 12 playing just insane pieces of music because there's this really rigid, this is how you play the instrument, which guitar doesn't have. Like, not many people try to teach themselves the violin without a teacher. It would be disastrous. Or, you know, someone to advise them along the way. Plenty of people pick up the guitar. And that's what he talks about is like, if it was that easy, then why aren't there more guitar players? We're not talking about good guitars. We're talking about guys like Rusty Cooley, Michelangelo Badio that pick at just insane speeds.
Right.
And like in one of the episodes he talks about, it's like playing faster to a scale is just everybody does that on violin. You know, it's like the bow is designed for that. While on guitar, it's a motherfucker to do. Like doing that 3 notes per string, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like, and so they do this whole series on breaking down. And I think, you know, they don't interview James Taylor, but they talk about just different ways that people hold picks. That's another thing. You can hold the pick slanted that way. You can hold the pick slanted that way. You know, there's just so many variables to it. Everybody is different. It's a really, it's worth checking out.
As everybody looks down and it's just like,
and it's like Screechy and I hold the picks completely different.
How do I? Yeah, it's like,
she does it with her like thumb extended like that almost, while I kind of go like that. Yeah, she does it more like you.
I usually do this.
Yeah, see, you guys do it completely different than I do, where I do it more like that.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Like I catch myself looking at my guitar cam, and like my picking hand looks so weird compared to everybody else's. And that's probably why I struggle with picking, because I'm not doing it right, or I'm not holding the pick correctly. I don't know if you guys do you guys remember there was a little thing came out a while back called Pix Max, and it was like a pick that had a grip attached to it, and you literally like place the grip between your thumb and your index finger, and the pick was on the end of it. And Future can chime in on this. He actually bought one and was like, "Hey, I'm going to buy this thing. Let's try it out." And I remember trying it, and I'm like, this is the weirdest, like, because it's designed to where you use your wrist and not your hand.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of picking is you're supposed to use your wrist and not your hand. And it was a great idea, and I couldn't break the habit. It really did. Future's right. Like, it felt so weird. But, like, it felt weird to us because that's probably the way you're supposed to hold the pick.
But that's kind of one of the things they break down is that the first one he talked about the original series. He kind of disappeared for a while. This guy went away, and then you know, he resurfaced at some point because you know they've got interviews with a lot of crazy people. You think it's like this is the way I'm supposed to pick, but then you look at all the guys interviewed; they all do it differently. That's what's crazy is like all these guys. You've got Michelangelo Badio, who's like, you know. He just like vibrates his hand and picks it the same. You got some guys that pick straight from the wrist with a doorknob. You got some guys that pick from the wrist like that. You guys that pick from the elbow. It's like they're all different. There you got guys that slant to pick that way, guys that slant to pick like George Benson. He's backwards. Marty Friedman is very similar to George Benson, completely different. And that's kind of one of the neat things. And once they start slowing these guys down, you're like, okay, this is why it's so hard.
Marty is a hell of a guitar player.
He was.
Like, I remember watching Marty's videos like back in the day, and he just like seemed like such a presentable guy, and like taught you how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, you know, like that kind of guy. And then like you hear some of Marty's like solo stuff now. Oh my God, like blown away. Like the guy's an amazing musician. For him, like putting out these like instructional videos, it's just so beyond him. And for him to go back and do that and kind of give back to, hey, I want to teach. You know, mad kudos to the guy.
Actually did a video with him. That's funny because he was very resistant to what they're trying to point out. They're like slowing it down, saying, "Oh, this is what you're doing." He's like, "No, that's not what I'm doing." They're like,
even though the video,
you know, it's right there, you know. And it's like that's one guy. If you tried to emulate his style, you'd be like, "Yeah, how's that work?" You know, he's got this weird wrong way slanted. His hand is almost like this, where he's picking versus you know. And he actually worked with. There's this little girl. Well, she's not. I think she's older now. Her name is Lisa X, and just insane guitar player. Like she's playing some insane stuff where you're like, yeah, she played Scarified like when she was like 10. You know the Paul Gilbert song, and just like shredding it. You know, and he kind of worked with her, and she was looking at it. But like the first one I was talking about, you know, before we go too in deep on it, you know, don't want to sell everything. His very first, the first kind of one they did was breaking down Yngwie's picking. And he said as he was watching it, you know, the VHS slowing it down, he noticed that Yngwie ended almost everything on an upstroke. Like every time he switched strings, it was on an upstroke. So it was like down, up, switch strings, down, up, down, up. You know, he never ended on a down string unless he was sweeping. Because what happens is like you pick down, your string is buried between two strings. So you have to like hop over to if you want to go to a different string or hop out. So Yngwie had this very methodical, you know, and then he's like, as he delved into it more, he's like, okay, sometimes he'll end on an up string. So everything was two notes, you know, or even notes. Then occasionally he'd throw an odd one in there, and he's like, what's going on? Oh, he's hammering on, so he's still ending the same. So as much as like, you know, Yngwie would probably act like, oh, I just do this off the cuff. I don't, you know, I just play, which he's done in some of his stuff before. I just do whatever. And, you know, Troy Gray's like, no, you have a very specific style. And then he moves on. There's guys like Michelangelo Badio that do planting both ways, you know, and he kind of talks about it. It's a really, really cool series, even if you don't like, you know, get deep into it. It's kind of interesting to see and realize, why is this instrument so hard to be really good at?
Easy to learn, hard to master.
It more than any other instrument.
For real though, that's the same with every instrument to an extent. Like to an extent. Like I've been playing music since I was 12. Like every instrument, well, not every instrument, but majority of the instruments is you kind of pick up on it quickly, right? And then you're like, well, what's the next level? How do I take it to the next level? How do I master the instrument?
But I would,
and for me in school, it was playing other styles of music.
Yeah.
Like when I started exploring jazz and playing other stuff like that, I was like, okay, so this is kind of the road to it, but a lot of it requires a lot of self-discipline too.
Oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
Putting in the time to practice. Like I'll admit, I never practiced in high school because I had the big head. I'm like, oh, I got first chair and everything. I'm a damn good player. I can do this shit. Y'all can kiss my ass. I mean, that a lot of comes with growing up. But at the same thing, like I now know as an adult, if I had put the time in to actually practice, I'd be somewhere in like, I don't know, LA, New York. I'd be some kind of professional musician.
Not
to toot my own horn.
I would definitely wager though that there's a lot more virtuoso piano and violin players than guitar players.
Piano is like one of the hardest instruments I have ever attempted to play.
To learn.
To learn.
And
like for me, it's the music, because like piano music, you really kind of like have to look in the middle and like guess the shapes. Because like it's really hard to read two staffs of music at the same time. And like when you got poor vision anyway, like me, you know, just a recipe for disaster.
I think a good way to describe the difference would be on piano, you reach a point where the limitation isn't the technical part about playing the instrument, it's actual musical knowledge. Like, what can I do if I learn? Well, on guitar, I feel like it's the other way. You get more limited technically, so it limits what you play. Like, it's like, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I'm going to do. I know a lot of guitar players are that way. Even the best guitar players, it's like, they tend not to venture outside of what they do. Like, I have a feeling...
that's kind of sad, though, because, like...
But that's true of, you know... It's one thing that you look at, like when we were doing judo, there's so many throws, so many different throws to do. But the top guys, the Olympians, the gold medalists, world champions, they were really good at one, maybe two things. Everything. I mean, they could do it all. Like if you know you make a mistake, they're going to throw you with their non-favorite throw. But once you get to a certain point, their whole game is getting you to that point where they're going to hit you with that one throw. So it's not something that's limited to music, but I think it's easier to get that point on piano. I can play anything. I just need to think of it. Whereas on guitar, I can think about stuff, but I have no idea how to play it. And she's kind of coming across that now where the songs she's being given are horn charts. Horns are so different than guitar. Like some of the stuff they play are like, and they're playing it at like insane tempos. You know, they're playing it like 280, 300. And you're like, what? Jeez. What? You know, and it's like, you think it'd be easy. You get, hey, perfect time. Robbie showed up speaking about martial arts and music.
I am muted at the right time. Yeah, homie. Welcome. We're glad you're still alive.
Yeah, right. Hurricane hasn't got you.
My sister actually, she lives in Charleston. She just messaged me and was like, Charleston is in a mandatory evacuation.
Ooh, she coming to your house?
No.
And she just got a new job too, right?
Yeah, coming in Tuesday. He said his body is ready.
Jeez, man.
Does that mean we have time to get me back up to level 65 where you made me die the other day? I'm so upset about it.
Can I have your new amp? Can you send it out
Oh,
here
did he
before
get
the hurricane?
get a new amp? What
He
you
did.
get,
He
homie?
got a new amp. Okay, well, we'll get to guitar. We'll get to some more guitar gear. But the one weird thing, like, and it's a different. Also, we're talking about different types of music, jazz and like metal. It's not just like the techniques and scales or anything like that. It's just like the bass. Jazz is a lot of swing eighth notes, while a lot of metal is like based on 16th notes. And we see it all the time in her, jazz programs, stuff like that, where there's guys that are really good guitarists, but they sound like rock guitarists trying to play jazz versus sounding like a jazz guitarist. A lot of that stuff is like, oh, it's all eighth notes or eighth notes triplets, occasional 16th note when they're in a weird run. It's like eighth notes at 240 beats a minute. Like, that's not that fast. It's like 16th notes at 120, but it doesn't translate directly like that, where you're like, what the hell are they doing? It's like, I don't get, on this horn. And you can definitely see the difference between horns and it's tough for her to realize, like, hey, your job as a guitar player in jazz isn't to solo. Your job is to play chords and make sure other people can solo. It's
for the most part.
Brutal.
Well, of course, of course, it's like there's plenty of guitar players that can solo.
I played a shit ton of jazz charts where there's guitar solos, but like the guitar solos is nothing compared to like.
But still,
a lot of jazz, like you said, like a lot of jazz music, like for solos, they basically just give you a key. Like, here's key and go.
It's crazy looking at some of those professional players' charts. And it's like, oh, we've never played before. Let's go through our book. Let's play these 10 songs. And they like nail them. And you're like, well, what? You guys, I've never even played this song. And you guys are playing it together, Giant Steps is terrible. I mean, it's a great song, but it's such a hard song to play. But you look at guys like Wes Montgomery. When he's playing in a band setting, even though he's probably one of the best guitarists ever to walk the face of the earth, in an 8-minute jazz song, he's soloing for maybe 2 minutes. His main job is still playing chords. Yeah, those horn players aren't playing chords while he's soloing. They're sitting there, drawing it up and talking to each other and making fun of the guitar player. It's like her main job.
I feel like the bass player in a jazz band has a bigger job than the guitar player. Because the bass player has to play along with the drums, right? Rhythm section?
The whole rhythm section. It's been a little bit different for her because she actually has a piano player this year. And the last few years she's been playing in the smaller group. She didn't have a piano player, which initially was a very good thing because she couldn't hide. She couldn't be like, oh, the piano player's comping. I'm just going to, sit here and hang out with the horn players. It's like, no. You
roll down my volume. Chords.
Yeah, you were the backbone of the band at this point, But now she has a piano player, so she's kind of going to have to adjust to that because piano players and guitar players play in a lot of the same register. So it's like it's really easy for them to stomp on each other and like, oh, I'm going to play this variation of the chord. I'm going to play this variation of the chord. And you're like, dude, that sounds terrible. One of you guys stop playing. The Giant Steps is one of those songs where you're like, oh, that looks easy. It's only like 12 chords. Yeah, it's 12 chords at 300 beats a minute, changing chords every beat. You're like, how do you solo over that? It's like, how do you do it? And these guys are just improvising insane shit. It's a different, and that's kind of what we're talking about, where their limitation isn't their instrument, it's their knowledge of the music. On guitar, they may be able to say, I know what I'm supposed to do here, but I don't know how to do this on the guitar. It's like, really, with horns, we talked about before, there's only one or maybe 2 spots to play a note. On the guitar, you're trying to figure this out, and they're like, oh, I'm playing here, but then they're jumping here. You have a hole. And you're like, and that's why people are like, oh, why haven't they made software that, just automatically tabs a song? It's like, good luck.
Well, what do you know?
Yeah, good luck with that. It's like even Guitar Pro, you're entering notes, and then you look at the tab version, and you're like, that makes no sense. Oh, right. And then people make bad charts on that where you're like, you didn't even look at this, did you? You didn't even try playing this before you charted it and uploaded it. Which just, it grinds me, where I'm like,
the bane of my existence sometimes.
Dude, same here. Like, I'm gonna make like a meme to like every time I get a bad chart, I can just hit a button on my stream deck and be like, bad chart.
Yeah. And it got to the point where it's like, no, I can't do this anymore.
To me, like, when the asshole doesn't even attempt to try to move the camera up the neck, I'm like, really? Yeah. Like, are you really that?
That's the thing. That's for some of the old charts. That is something where that wasn't like something changed with the way charts were made. I guess I don't remember exactly what happened, but and so some old charts it used to work and it doesn't anymore because of an update with the game. So sometimes it's not their fault.
But it's
okay. Well,
it's easy enough to fix now. There's a tool you can run it through that'll fix it now. A lot of that stuff will automatically get fixed and updated. But that's assuming the chart is worth fixing in the first place.
And that's also like because like you can't just download it then run it through. That's just such a waste of time on stream.
Live, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, as far as them maintaining it, where it's like, oh, maybe I should fix my chart.
I wish people would just like keep a modern modernize their charts. Exactly what Robbie's saying.
It's not that. I mean,
fix your shit.
They didn't even check the tab before they charted it. Which brings us to another thing, talking about charting. The hardest part is getting the timing right. Those beat maps.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah,
those ones where they it's obviously just winged it and like just try to place the notes on the chart instead of using a Guitar Pro chart or something. Yeah, those are fun. And where it's like, wait, I'm a little bit ahead. Wait, now I'm a little bit behind. And then like to my stream, it looks like I'm just playing bad. Yeah. But really, it's the chart. And
like a quarter note off, and you're like, what?
Yeah. I already blame the charts enough as it is, Yeah,
you're like, this chart's terrible.
You blame the chart, and then your audience gets mad at you because you're blaming the chart. You're like,
sure it is. And then
whoever
requested it takes it personal.
And I'm already super picky. Well, yeah, and then we get to the whole issue of whoever made the chart is in my chat taking it personal.
Yeah, dude, I'm to the point now. I'm to the point now where somebody comes in my chat and they're like, "Hey, I charted something. Do you care to like test it?" I'm just going to say no.
If I don't know you,
if there's something wrong with it, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you there's something wrong. Like I'm not going to be an asshole and be like, "Oh, everything's great. This is perfect."
I don't.
Well, that was the issue. That was the issue with Liatus Fairy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She came into my stream and she made some really bullshit chart, and I told her everything that was wrong with it, and I said, "Here's my feedback, short, sweet, to the point. I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit." And then I get so much shit talked about me behind my back, like this guy's mean. I'm like, dude, I just told you it was wrong.
Don't ask.
And then
don't ask if you don't want to hear it. It's like if you want legit criticism.
And like I don't sugarcoat nothing. I'll legit tell you if it's fucked up or like something needs to be adjusted. Because like I feel like I would want the same thing being a musician.
Yeah.
Like if I wrote a piece of music and I wanted you to play it, and there was something wrong with it, I would want you to tell me like what's wrong with it.
This is awful. Like, yeah, it's like you totally made this wrong.
Don't sugarcoat it. Like I would reciprocate.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah, it's tough. Like you said, especially if they're there where you're like, and the hard thing too, and one thing that I think Rocksmith doesn't get enough credit for, especially on our newer charts, is making tones that actually work with every setup.
That's like a whole other ballgame.
Impossible.
Oh man, that's where you got that Hearts Person to Fire tone. I use it for everything for a reason, man. And what they need to do for us is give us more hotkeys on PC. Like I have literally hundreds or dozens of buttons in front of me that don't get used while I'm streaming.
Or
I have a friggin' Stream Deck too. Like
in our case, dude. Let player 1 and player 2 switch tones.
Oh, that one sucks. Yeah, they didn't.
It's like if we had bad tones, especially if one of us was on bass, we're stuck with it. So I
feel like that's the number one thing. That's the number one thing the Rocksmith community wants is more tone.
Yeah.
Like, give us more than 3.
Yeah.
And then, and then number 2 would be multiplayer. Please let multiplayer switch. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And online multiplayer would be cool.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear the other person playing. Like you could probably because of a latency, right? Latency would prevent you from playing in sync with somebody else.
There was a company.
They can figure it out, dude. It's 2019.
Well, it wouldn't be able to be real time.
We can't even interact with our chat in real time. Now try to imagine.
Yeah,
it's like it's even there, and it's like
Google Stadia.
Exactly. A 1 or 2 second delay with chat, not a big deal. A 1 or 2 second delay on a Slayer song. You guys are playing different parts, it's like all of a sudden. And there's a company called Sonoma Wireworks, and they made a software called Riffworks. They stopped supporting it because they started doing other stuff. And for a while there, they had a system that you could play online together, but they intentionally built in a delay. Where it's like, it's like you're going to be exactly 1 bar behind the other person, so they play their thing on, then you're playing catch up. And then they're seeing it come back in a different time. It was kind of like they had a decent... It worked, but it wasn't real time. And they even said, they're like, we just can't.
Yeah,
you know,
it's just
it's just not the technology.
The only thing you could do
there.
would be to make it like how Guitar Hero was, and just have your charts and like have your chart in sync with theirs or something, and then you see what they're playing, and if they hit it, there's a bit of delay on what you're seeing, but you can't hear them, because if you hear them, it's gonna throw you off, right?
Dude,
I mean,
that was one of the problems we had, is just hearing myself sing, like, or talk when there's a delay on it. I couldn't deal with it. It messed with my head so much, where I'd say something and like half a second later I'd hear it again, and I was like, I can't imagine doing that with guitar. Having that big a latency would just be.
Dude, I can't even do that with audio monitoring. Like, if I hear myself back in my ears and there's like the slightest delay, I can't do it.
Yeah, if they did a duet thing like with Twitch things where one person play, like an easy mode doing your own double plays would be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. And you don't have to do it fancy, but just play Guitar Hero and stop complaining. Get out of here, Robbie.
True.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I majored in Guitar Hero my first semester of college.
Jeez.
Yeah.
My parents were so mad.
The good old days.
Yeah, Guitar Hero made me go into academic probation. I'll fully admit it. I'll fully admit it. I mean, obviously I graduated. I have a degree, but at the same time, I'm just like, I look back on it now. I'm like, wow, I was really fucking stupid when I was 18, 19 years old. Like, cause like I paid for my college. Like, I didn't get any kind of financial aid. And me being the dumb 18, 19-year-old kid at the time, I'm out of the house. I don't have rules anymore. I can do whatever I want.
Right.
I look back on it now like, wow, I was such a fucking idiot. Like,
as if
I don't know why my parents were so mad.
Yeah, I've already dated myself enough, but for me, it was Muds and Moos, like the text-based multiplayer games. So it was basically like WoW, except it was all typing and chatting, and you get into it, and it's like, go west, attack. It was like, 80 styles, but it was online, and it was with other people, and you'd encounter, the room you're in has 3 other players, and you're like, oh man, this is so cool. And you go to the computer lab at school, and I'm supposed to be doing a program, I was a computer science nerd when I went into college too, and I just didn't finish that. But I was like, I should be programming this, and like, no, I'm gonna play this mud instead, But multi-user dungeon or multiplayer online hallucination. There's like different versions of them. Like that was, they shouldn't give college students access to the internet for like the first year. It's like
for real, yeah. Sit your ass down and study. Like,
it's like, okay, guys, you can drink, but you can't go on the internet. It's like, it'd probably be more productive.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, when I didn't get high-speed internet until I went to college. I had dial-up internet right until I went to college. I got to college and I had high-speed internet. It was like it opened up a whole new world. I was like, what is this? Like, there's all these games I can play now, and Guitar Hero came out. It's just a recipe for disaster, boys. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Like, oh.
Yep.
It's a fucking wonder I finished. Like, for real. Like, but I did. That's all that matters, is you finish. Totally. All these people are like, oh, I'm going to take a year off, or I'm going to do. I'm like, don't do it. Like, just put your head down and finish.
Do it. Yep.
Just finish. Like, I've had so many people come up to me and they're just like, man, I'm thinking about taking a year off. I want to travel. I'm like, you can fucking travel when you finish.
Yeah.
Like, just finish.
You already started. Yeah.
You've already started. Like, you've came this far. And it's like, I've had like people in their second half of their junior year, and they literally only have 2 semesters to go. I'm like, if you stop now, you won't finish. I'm like, I always tell people, I'm like, finish. Like, it doesn't matter when you finish. Oh. You've sunk the time into it.
Right.
Get it done. Then you can go do all the dumb shit you want. Then you can go travel, and
you can afford to do all the dumb shit too.
Well,
yeah, well, like buy lots of guitars. Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
Right.
One day you'll have like 2 or 3 guitar racks full, and you're like,
I'm relying on her to become a famous musician and take me on tour. Yeah.
Ride her coattails.
Get a job as a roadie. It's setting up. I set up all her gear anyway. I carry all her gear already. Might as well get paid for it, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. At least you get a cut, like
right. A manager and roadie.
Yeah. That's why I never really understood roadies. Is like, roadies don't get paid. Like, if they get paid, it's very little. And like, for somebody to just like follow bands around.
There's
It does depend.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like roadies don't get paid shit.
Honestly, I have a
They're
lot
literally
more.
just like follow the band around and unload their shit and set it up.
I have a lot more respect for those guys watching a lot of
So,
those.
for sure, for sure.
Like the rig rundown stuff like that, where you're like, wow, that setup is way more complex than you think. Even like us trying to get this setup was, I might as well have earned a degree in audio engineering while trying to do this. Like some of those setups that they have, like, I mean, obviously there's bands like Metallica where their setup is insane, absolutely insane. And then you got bands like the Black Keys where he's done with it. He's like, just make my gear work. And it's like, that's what I'm paying you for. And while you're at it, switch effects for me. It's like some of those guys are borderline genius audio engineers making some of those rigs work, Like us just trying to figure out these ground loops when we're trying to play through our amps and Rocksmith at the same time. When we plugged into USB and feeding out to the amps, we got a terrible ground loop. So, we have to figure out how to work around that. And then you're on stage, you got different power every, Sure, you have the local band that, tours the local bars and they have a roadie. You're like, fuck, get out of here. It's like, you don't need a roadie for that. You play one guitar, you have two pedals. The audio engineer at the bar sets up the PA. You don't need a roadie. But some of these other bands, man, I have some serious respect for some guys. Which is funny. Just a funny story we laughed about is that we went and saw Smashing Pumpkins on Wednesday, and AFI opened for him. And Davey Havoc, he abused the shit out of his mic and his mic stand. Like guys, like Richie said, damn theater kids. Like that guy was dancing around, jumping on everything, constantly throwing his mic stand on the ground, like knocking it over while he's spinning around. There's one guy running out there between, all the time, fixing his mic, putting it back up. 2 seconds later, he knocked it over again. The guy would come running back out, and I was like, dude, that guy
hates his job.
That guy ran like real. 2 miles, I was like, and then there's one point where Dave Havoc knocked his mic stand over, jumped up on it, and was looking at the drummer, turns around, and the roadie wasn't fast enough getting, the mic stand back up, ran into the roadie, danced off stage, and I'm like, that guy, man.
I used to always say that a roadie is like the same job as the guy that runs and gets the tennis ball in tennis matches.
Yes.
It's basically the same job. Like, it's tough. Like, I couldn't do it.
The crazy one to me are the drum techs that make changes while the guy's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they bust the head or something and they got to like run out and change the drum.
They switch the snare drum during the song and you're like, how? It's like
fast hands, man.
Yeah, how many times have you been hitting the hands? It's like the guy's got to wear like lacrosse gloves or something like that while he's doing it.
I saw Neil Peart do that one time at a Rush tour. He like busted a head on one of his toms, and like his drum tech literally comes out with the tom and like mid song and changes the tom while Neil's still playing. It absolutely blew my mind as like somebody that could actually do that. Like microphones and guitars, change a cable, maybe
bring a new guitar out if you have to.
Bring a new guitar out, or you see a guitar player break a string, bring another guitar out. For somebody to like bust the tom or bust the drum head, and they have to like, that blew my mind. I was like, holy shit!
And to know the song well enough to change it, not during like his solo or something like that, where like, okay, I can switch it right now. Although switching guitars is its own problem for some of these guys that go through a lot of guitars. Where they have like 3 or 4 different audio routes where each guitar is on its own. They're already set up, or having like wireless systems fail and they have a backup. These guys, for some of them, it's like watching Metallica's guys. It's like the military grade. We got redundancies for the backup. You're like, okay, I guess that'd be a pretty big deal if all of a sudden you couldn't hear James Hetfield's guitar. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
That's sure.
And like bands like Metallica, they get so mad when something fails and they blame their techs for everything. It's like, sometimes shit just dies and like you can't do anything about it. But like that's when you see the level of professionalism in some bands where you're just like, oh, I broke a string. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, all right. And then the rest of the band keeps talking while that person's changing their string and keep the audience occupied. It's not dead air for like 6 minutes, It's like that's huge. It really is. You can always tell like the bands have been doing it for a while. They'll just laugh.
You see bands like Guns N' Roses where something happens and they're like, fuck this, we're off stage.
It's not the bands. It's the lead singer in Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
I doubt Slash ever threw a temper tantrum about,
Oh,
not
shut
having
up,
the right M&Ms in his, dressing room.
Oh God.
Speaking of
Dude, Wayne's
Slash's,
World, like I love that movie so much.
dude,
Like
yeah.
I crack up every time in that scene.
Yeah.
Ozzy wouldn't go on stage at night unless he had 10,000 brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass. It's so funny because like it's so true because like there's so many bands out there that were like that.
Yeah, you look at some of those writers from the bands in the '80s where they were just trying to sneak as much by as they could. When a 2-pound wheel of cheese in the dressing room. You're like, what? Why is that?
What does that do?
You're like, all right, I really like my cheese, Sure you do,
I gotta have a bottle of Southern Comfort, and it has to come from this particular place. And
there was celery in the the fruit salad or whatever. I was like, get it out of here. We're not playing. Okay. Yeah, the dairy.
I remember like
vocals.
one of the most ludicrous things I ever heard with Guns N' Roses was they were late to show up on stage because Axl was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in his dressing room.
Nice.
They were like 45. They were 45 minutes late to go on stage because Axl was in the green room watching. I think it was the second movie, which is worse. Like it's so bad. And like Axl's like, I'm not going on stage until I'm done watching Ninja Turtles 2.
Good old Axl.
So I had tickets to see the Metallica Guns N' Roses show, and after James, there was a riot in Toronto
After he got burnt,
and then James Hetfield burned himself. But it was the riots where Axl wouldn't go on stage, so everyone tore the arena apart. So they had to reschedule it, everything, and my mom wouldn't let me go because like, oh, it's a school night and it sounds too dangerous. I'm like, if you knew some of the other shows I went to. I mean, it's like
if you only knew.
Yeah, I'm like, really? So I got to see Guns N' Roses play once with. Hold on 1 second.
Nice. Lesson on some ancient history over here.
Yeah. Sorry, we're old.
How old are you?
I'm 31.
Oh, okay.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Okay.
You're one of the older ones at the stream, Eaglebone.
Yeah. What are you trying to say, dude?
No, I'm probably the oldest one, so I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
I mean, you can't see it, but I got the bald spot to prove it.
You upset Robbie.
Oh, it wasn't my fault. It was critics said it sucked.
Dang.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, so I didn't see. I mean, I saw.
I loved all those
play.
movies when I was a kid, homie. I'm just saying, critics said it sucked.
You know what? I think I saw most of them. I read the comic, I watched a cartoon, and we got into it before where the new cartoon with its stupid hip hop song is terrible. The old school version is so much better, and Oh yeah, Vanilla Ice. Forgot about that. Go ninja, go. And again, that's when we talked about guilty.
We can't say the word ninja on Twitch anymore.
Oh, sorry.
I feel like it's the curse word.
Yeah, that's true. And we're gonna get we're
gonna
get sent to Mixer.
Yeah. All right, let's let iYoungGun go here. He had a long day yesterday. Before we
go, dude, I'm tired.
we've talked about this with I think everyone, and guilty pleasures. We've talked about it's like I've got no problems with any of the music I listen to. We know what you like on stream. We know what you like. Are there any guilty pleasures where people might not know? Music-wise.
Josh Turner, country music artist.
Oh, he's fantastic.
I wouldn't say guilty because he's amazing, but like.
Oh no, that's exactly. Wolfmother and I kind of talked about that last stream where it's like guilty pleasure more so in the sense of like this isn't what I normally listen to, but I listen to it because I think as musicians especially, I've got no problem. Like,
I mean, I still openly like show my love for MCR. Like, can I have a guilty pleasure? Like people knock on MCR all the time. Like, this is, I don't know. What?
I mean, you're gonna be wearing your Skelly gloves during the stream.
Yeah, exactly. Like, do I look like the kind of guy that has a?
Yeah, maybe we can't miss those like to do the makeup.
Like I say it all the time on stream. Like, if it's something you enjoy, it's just a pleasure. Don't worry about being guilty about it. Unless it's like Temptation or whoever he is.
I think we're all, as musicians especially, I think we're all on board with that. Just you listen to what's good music. Good music is good music.
Exactly.
And I mean, I don't like a lot of newer country music. Like the country where it's basically pop with a fiddle.
Oh,
it's like
yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
you could give it to any pop star and sing it, and it'd be exactly the same. You know.
Yeah,
but
we call it hick hop or
hick hop.
Southern pop, like pop with the twang. I mean, there's so many.
Alternative.
Yeah, alternative. Yeah.
Alternative. I like that.
Yeehaw alternative.
Yeah, exactly. But like good guys like Brad Paisley.
Yeah, he's still a great guitarist.
Amazing guitar player.
Brad Paisley's a great guitar player.
Oh yeah, but I mean, just saying, as far as country artists, there's a lot of good country artists. Country and bluegrass, there's a lot of insanely good musicians.
But they don't get the attention because Nashville's promoting all the bullshit. Yeah.
No, exactly. It's basically they said, hey, we've got our own pop music now, and whatever. People like, again, can't give them too much shit for liking what they like, but I'm like, man, there's such better country out there.
Basic. I mean, like.
Drink your pumpkin spice latte while listening to,
Florida Georgia line.
Oh God. Oh God.
Luke Bryan.
We can't
end line. And what's the other one we really hate?
Luke Bryan, I'm sure.
Oh, he's awful.
Oh, Rascal Flatts.
Flats.
God. They used to be okay.
I'm not gonna lie. The Rascal Flatts cover of "Life Is a Highway" is not that bad. Like, it's okay.
This is what got mad at me for talking bad about pumpkin spice lattes. I didn't say they weren't. Didn't say they weren't good.
They're just associated with basic.
But we were just talking about basic country fans. And like I said, pumpkin slut.
All right, we can't end the stream on a down note talking about.
Okay, yeah. What you got?
I got nothing. I'm just kidding. So
games we're looking forward to coming out soon.
Yeah.
Halo Master Chief Collection
on PC.
On PC, yeah.
When is the official date for that? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I feel like
this year
they keep saying this year, right? We haven't gotten an official date.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be Reach first, but I'm pretty stoked.
Oh, Reach was so good.
I got my game I was waiting for with WoW Classic.
Yeah, I'm getting into it, man. Yeah. I might go play a little bit before I go to sleep.
We'll probably play a little bit. She's been playing retail back there because she's trying to level up some characters. But
right, what new game that's coming out this fall are you looking forward to?
Modern Warfare. I guess technically an old game as well, but it's the new one. But
yeah,
hopefully bringing it back to the roots is what it seems like. I've got a beta key through Astro, so I'm gonna try that out as soon as
oh, that's awesome.
Beta drops. So
I'm looking forward to Rocksmith 2020. Enhanced multiplayer support.
Yeah,
we can only dream, right?
We can only dream.
And I get it, I get it. The licensing would be a nightmare, but
yeah,
at least they're still supporting the game and putting out good new content.
Yeah, that's what we can. I want more. I want some more heavy songs, man.
Yeah.
And
they put out one metal pack, which was like some weird black metal thing, and
they had the Trivium pack, the new Trivium.
No, we had the Trivium pack recently, I guess.
Yeah,
I want more. I want more like that. Like
Trivium's awesome because they're accessible. Like, I get it. Some of that stuff, most of the people playing Rocksmith are happy with Bloodhound Gang. That's like they're like, hey, don't get me wrong, I like Bloodhound Gang, but I was like 4
chords and easy songs.
Yeah, and I get it. That's probably what most people like. That's probably what they play. But yeah, come on, a little bit more metal.
You're the craziest pack I've seen so far in terms of like just overall diversity, but pack I still like. I haven't checked that one out. There was the pack that had Escape the Fate. This War Is Ours.
Yeah.
Also had All My Exes Live in Texas from George Strait.
And you're like,
I was like, how do you put both of those in a single pack? Man?
Yeah. What was the pack even titled at that point? Just variety.
It was a variety pack.
Variety pack.
Yeah. Like 14 or something.
And I gotta say, it's not that I didn't like the songs with the last ones they just released with the Girls Who Rock. There is so much diversity out there with Girls Who Rock that are St. Vincent. Do a damn St. Vincent pack.
Tonight Alive.
Yeah, they can play guitar. They'd be perfect. I mean, okay, St. Vincent would be kind of tough because some of that stuff is heavily effects based, but she's such a good guitarist. I think people, it's like, just come on. But yeah, a little heavier stuff.
Yeah,
a little heavier stuff. It's.
I want a pack of like punk covers too, like Punk Goes Pop, but in Rocksmith.
Yeah, so they've got actually a nice variety of punk, but there's some more current. I guess that's one of the big things too is nothing they release is current. Like,
Yeah,
you know, everything is a little bit older, which is probably a licensing thing. I get it. You know, it's like,
Mhm.
a bunch of people say, well, why don't you have Metallica? Well, it's a two-sided, you know, not only do they have to have one Metallica, Metallica has to want to do it. But
Well, the other problem with Metallica, and I talked about this one a little bit, and I think people seem to agree, was, I mean, if you get a Metallica pack, everybody's gonna be up in arms about which songs. It's gonna be the biggest fight within the community. Like, oh my God, you didn't include Light the Lightning, you didn't include Master of Puppets.
Just do a Saint
What do
Anger
you mean,
pack.
no, Ryan? Yeah, oh my
No,
God.
And then
no
everybody
Saint
can,
Anger.
Saint Anger
Everybody
pack.
can collectively be upset.
That's gonna be Metallica
Just-
trolling. Okay, just speaking
That'd be
of trolling.
that'd be the biggest troll of all. I would support that. That would be the ultimate troll.
Of course you would.
But back to just trolls quick. The Padres, the Red Sox were here last week or the week before. And everybody knows the Red Sox do their Sweet Caroline. That's the thing they play,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, I heard about this. Yeah.
The
And
Padres
they
started
rickrolled them, right?
playing Sweet Caroline. And right before it got to the Sweet Caroline, they fucking rickrolled the stadium.
Yes.
They rickrolled the stadium. It
You
was
love
the
to see
best
it.
thing ever. I think
Oh.
someone has video out there. I think it might actually be on their website. But like you can see, I mean, it was probably heavily Red Sox fans that game, and they were all getting into it, and all of a sudden they just got trolled, and I was like,
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
the best troll ever. Yeah, I'll give them that. And, you know, it's like,
All right, we can end it on that. I feel like that's a good
yeah.
number.
High note
Young
right there.
thank you for
Been
coming
fun,
on after that
Sure.
long stream yesterday. Looking forward to doing that charity stream, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. September 27th. It is Screechy's birthday and a fundraiser stream.
Perfect.
We've got gonna get a Rocksmith game to give away. We're giving away Guitar Pro copies of Guitar Pro, Transcribe. Got a few instructional programs that Metal Method. Doug Marks is giving us a copy of his instructional program, like the classic Learn to Play Metal program. Who else did we have? We had the Cracking the Code that we were talking about earlier, giving away some stuff.
Yeah.
The guy from Play This Riff, he's in Fu Manchu. He's giving us a subscription to his program. Dave Davidson from Revocation giving us a guitar lesson, a Skype guitar lesson. Kind of cool. Trying to get, I'm still trying to get Digitech on board. Give us a drop pedal giveaway, guys.
Man, that'd be sick.
Give us
I gotta ask Astro and see if they'd be on board.
see if Astro give it, because what we want to do
speaking
is.
of.
Yeah.
I gotta send you. Screechy won the headset, so I gotta.
Do they ship it out or do you ship it out?
They ship it out.
Okay, I was gonna say you could just bring it with you, but I'll get you in Discord. You
Cool.
should probably have my address anyway, since you're gonna be coming over.
Oh, yeah, true.
Digitech should make a Rocksmith edition of their drop pedal. They really should make a rock. And I was trying, but I haven't heard back from them. Their department's hard. Some of the other companies are easier to get a hold, and some people are like, we just small enough stream, even though it's big, not to we're not giving you a guitar. Yeah, fair enough. It was worth a shot, but yeah, have a copy of Rocksmith, some of that stuff. Sheet Happens. They're giving away a lot of packs of Tab, and a lot of bands on there that Rocksmith streamers like. So what we're gonna do is get someone set up to be ready to stream Rocksmith, learn guitar and stream Rocksmith if they want. September 27th, we've got 9 streamers, possibly 10 if Boom goes. Maybe add in a couple songs from him.
Yeah.
Screechy's gonna be.
Yeah, but Screechy, you're working hard.
Yeah, that's good. That would put her up to 40 songs. So what we're doing, each Screechy picks 2 songs to play with each streamer. The streamer picks a third song, and we're gonna let the community bid on the third song. So if you want to see Screechy struggle through the fire and the flames with YoungGun, now's your chance.
Boy.
You want to see
That
her?
one is
Screechy gets the lead on that one, right?
Yeah, she's not okay with that one. She said no Satch Boogie. She that scroll speed is insane.
That'd be
That's not
tough.
fair, yeah.
Yeah,
I had the pattern down, which is why I was able to pass it.
It's like, I guess you could run it through and make
With just the tapping, dude.
Yeah, that was a crazy song. But yeah, so 36 songs, a few more if Boom plays, if he shows up. Have some giveaways. We're raising funds for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, which is a type 1 diabetic, so that's something close to us. And some good streamers. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're at TwitchCon, definitely come up and say hi to all of us at the convention. Otherwise, make sure you watch.
Hell yeah.
And where can all these people find you, homie? You got anything you want to plug?
Ospug, twitch.tv.ospug, twitch.tv.eaglebone,
don't talk over each other, one at a time.
Yeah.
And
Carry on, Ospug.
If you're not following YoungGun yet, twitch.tv.iYoungGun. Let's go get him partnered. It's going to be an ongoing battle, but we will get him there eventually.
Dude,
We'll
the
get you there,
struggle. The struggle. So real, man.
Got September coming up. Go subscribe. Get going there. Yeah.
I gotta promote that a little more.
Yeah, it's the third. It's the third 24. So unfortunately, it doesn't overlap the charity stream, but still, get some subs in there. Say hi to everyone. Great community in Rocksmith, and iYoungGun is one of the pillars of that community for sure.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, dude. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks for talking music, sports, gaming, all of that, and we'll probably see you online a little bit playing some WoW. iYoungBun, you can be online.
Will,
iYoungBun won't, but you know,
we'll break you eventually. Would you play World of Warcraft for a year if we could get Mrs. Ospug's MTV appearance?
I don't know. I'd have
it's
to
all
think
theoretical, but would you do it for that?
You can do it. That'd be worth it. So worth it.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, tuning in. If you missed the live stream, we'll be up on YouTube.
Yes.
So check us out there. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Take care.
Everyone.
Peace, dudes.